and festive tailgating. They'll go inside, hoping their mids can move to 8-3 with a victory over Temple. It's coming up next on CSTV. Welcome inside Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium and Jack Stevens Field, where today the Navy midshipmen sent 35 seniors onto the field in their final home game in the season finale for the Temple Owls. And welcome and glad to have your citizenship today in CSTV Football Nation. I'm Pete Medhurst along with the quarterback Scott Zolak. And Scott, this Navy team right now at 7-3 on the season has overcome an awful lot of adversity in which to get here. The injury to a quarterback in Brian Hampton, the super sophomore Kaipanoa Kehehaku in Hada stepping up for the Miz.
Say it fast 16 times. Kaipo's done a nice job, Pete. You're right, filling in where Brian Hampton is left off. He's a little more of a diverse player. He can get outside the pocket. Paul Johnson's offense has not skipped a beat. He had a huge day last week against Eastern Michigan. Take a look at what he did. Accounted for 4 touchdowns on the ground. Here's one of them where he breaks 5 tackles to find the end zone. Another one where he breaks containment on a play-action pass. He found Reggie Campbell right down the middle of the field for a big play. And you're going to see Tyree Barnes go up for a touchdown pass catch right here. He does a nice job allowing his receiver to go up and get the ball. 7 touchdowns on their first 7 drives. They were huge at Eastern Michigan.
Meanwhile, on the Temple side of things, another sophomore there, Adam DeMichael at the helm for the Owls.
I talked to head coach Al Golden, and when you say DeMichael's name, he says consistency from this redshirt sophomore. He's had a big month of November. Prior to the Penn State game, he accounted for 8 touchdowns, 7 through the air, 1 on the ground. He's hitting on 65% of his passes. That's what the Owls need right now.
For the Owls and the midshipmen, they've met 6 times. Temple, believe it or not, has won 4. Can Navy win their 3rd in this rivalry? We'll find out. Kickoff is next on CSTV.
All power with no shift shock. The next Nissan Maxima with CVT, part of the next generation of Nissan thinking.
Football's a way of life. Live it with CSTV.
Games, highlights, and insights on air and online.
The Bruins are New England. Not the glitz, but the grit. The Bruins are where character and teamwork matter over individual achievement. The Bruins are the drumbeat of a tribe. Played in the neighborhoods, heard in the bars, and felt in the streets. The Bruins are the hub of hockey.
This hurts more than shopping for auto insurance.
Suck it up, champ. Esurance takes the pain out of it.
What? I need collision coverage now.
With some of the fastest quotes on the web, Esurance makes it easy to save on auto insurance.
That's why thousands of drivers switch to Esurance every week.
Esurance has got you covered in every season.
Quote by Fred.
Touchdown! If you're on the go, you've got to have Esurance.
Get your fast, free auto insurance quote. Visit esurance.com today.
I was an offensive lineman for 4 years. I no longer wear pads, but I still carry a lot of weight on my shoulders.
There are over 360,000 NCAA student athletes, and just about all of us will be going pro in something other than sports.
CSTV Football Nation, Temple versus Navy is brought to you by Duplicolor. Spray on your spirit with Duplicolor and you could win the ultimate fan weekend. Log on to duplicolor.com to learn more. And welcome back to Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. An E-8-6B Prowler, the Marine Tactical Electronic Warfare Squadron, down at the Marine Corps Air Station in Cherry Point, North Carolina. Stow it downstairs to Sheehan Stanwyck Birch, who's got a great story on today's opening kickoff.
Today is a big day for two Naval Academy midshipmen as they make their first and only appearance in a Navy football uniform as a result of a special tradition now known as the 12th Mid. 3 years ago, Coach Paul Johnson listened to a crazy suggestion that he should emphasize the special bond between the Navy midshipmen fan base and also the Navy football team. So he's allowing two members of the brigade to be part of a Navy kickoff team, which is very unusual. Typically it's just one, but he was so impressed with the alternate, Clint Desjardins, and also the selected player, Rich Lippincott, that they'll be covering two separate kickoffs. Also special to note that they'll be wearing number 12, which is also the jersey number of Roger Staubach, which he's allowed it to be unretired for this special day.
Thank you, Sheehan, and no question, it got to be a great day for those young men to be wearing number 12. Ironically, our statistician today, Brad Bolin, is hoping to be a Navy aviator one day. Was our 12th mid last year. There you see Rich Lippincott out of Whittier, California. He will go down on this kickoff, and we have seen 12th mids in the past over the first two times, Scott, go down on multiple kicks. It was ironic. It was the idea spawned at one of Paul Johnson's coaching shows where they take questions, and one of the mids stepped up and, you know, suggested something of the sort, and the idea has stuck.
Well, you saw Lippincott right there. He kind of has arms like you, Pete. That's what the first thing that came to my mind. But I think it's great for the team. I think the team, the midshipmen love having both these guys. When you talk about one, you talk about two. They're going to get their chance today, and take a look, see if he makes a stick right here.
Travis Shelton taking the ball from Jason Harper as they both went together. He's out over the 20, 25, 27-yard line. And the first cousin of Chicago Bears top return man, Devin Hester, gets Temple out to the 27-yard line. Well, they will have their first possession of the football game behind quarterback Adam DeMichael.
Take a look at DeMichael right there, over 1,400 yards on the year. Redshirt sophomore. Al Golden's team, they play 21 true freshmen. It's the most out of anybody in Division 1A. It's a young football team. It's one of the reasons they're 1-10 right now. But you look at what Rutgers has done over the past 4 years. Greg Schiano, 2002, he was 1-11. These young kids, the experience they're gaining on days like today playing here at Navy will help them in the long run.
Josh Bundy in front of Tim Brown, who gets the carry on first down, breaks it off the right side, out of one tackle, slips down at the 29-yard line. He'll have a gain of 2. It'll bring up 2nd and 8. Across the front for the Owls, Tyler Satchel, Darren Thal, who's a dynamite center, Battle and Seifert. Skill people, Brown, Bundy, Brown, Francis, and Holly, local product out of Washington, D.C. Also, Marcus Brown is at a nearby Upper Marlboro, Maryland. A lot of local flavor on this Temple roster from nearby schools here in the Annapolis area. 2nd down and 8. DeMichael hands second back through Brown, trying to cut it back up the middle, and does so. Tripped up as he gets up near the 32-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down and 5. Adams, Wright, and Chan, the seniors, starting up front today for defensive coordinator Buddy Green. The linebackers, Mahoney, Caldwell, and Tidwell, and Irv Spencer. And in the secondary, Rashawn King, Jeremy Miles, the outstanding freshman, Jeremy McGowan, and Keenan Little, two of the most consistent performers on that Navy D. And there you see Rob Caldwell of that senior class, hoping to go out on a winning note today. 3rd down and 5. DeMichael out of the shotgun. Offensive coordinator George DeLeon showing some confidence here out of the gun on 3rd and 5. And DeMichael throws across the middle. He's got completion and a crunching hit at the 41-yard line. That's where they're going to spot it as he hits his brother, Alex DeMichael, the freshman, but he's a yard short of the first down.
That's one of the things you see with youth. You got to be aware of where the sticks are. It's a 3rd and 5 situation. They ran a couple drag routes across the middle. They brought the fullback underneath. He's got to know where the first down marker is. He had time to settle in the hole. His brother found him, but it's not, to no avail. 4th and 1.
Ends up a punting situation here for the Temple Owls, and Jake Brownell, who originally attended Navy, transferred to Temple, gets the punt off. Jason Tomlinson, fair catch signaled for a momentary bobble at the 23-yard line. That's where Navy will have it. 1st down and 10 from their own 23. Take a look at the Navy offensive players who will come out here today for Paul Johnson, led by Kaiponoa Kehehaku Inahara.
I'm going to call him Kaipo all day today. At least I am.
That's right, because you can't say Inhada because technically his last name is Kehehaku.
It's like Madonna. It's one name.
That's right.
And, Scott Streismeyer, the SID here at Navy, said that's what you go with today.
And if you keep playing well, just like the Brazilian soccer stars, we'll call you a one-word name. Kaiponoa out to the left on the sprint out. Gets the Ballard out of the backfield. He's into the Temple secondary, run out of bounds at the 42-yard line. He will have a Navy 1st down. Dominique Harris runs him out of bounds on the play. Take a look at the Navy folks up front who will be protecting Kehehaku Inhada today. Pritchett, Gallion, Rossi, Harper, and McGinn. And the skilled people, Ballard, Singleton, Campbell, Washington, and Tomlinson. Zerban Singleton, the Georgia Tech transfer, has had a super year blocking. Here's Kehehaku Inhada pitching it out here to Shun White. He'll gain up to the 43-yard line. It'll be a gain of 2, nearly 3, 2nd down and 7. Mark D'Onofrio, the defensive coordinator. Simpson, Neblett, Knighton up front. Sanford, Gillette, Ebane, and Gore. In the secondary, Page, Harris, Shepard, and Coleman. You had a nice history with Al Golden and his defensive coordinator, Mark D'Onofrio.
I did. When I was at Maryland, we played Penn State. Four times I was there. These guys were in the same class as I was, and D'Onofrio, of course, the defensive coordinator, hit me late 3 times at State College. Got flagged for all 3, but we still lost the game.
Ballard up the middle on the 2nd down carry. He'll gain 2 to the 46-yard line. Maybe needs the Temple 49. It'll bring up 3rd down and 5. I can still see a little bit of the Rydell outline on the bottom of your chin there.
But Al Golden, one of the great men in all of college football. I spent 1 year with him also up at New England, his rookie season. Played tight end, obviously co-captain at Penn State. And the coaching tree and the guys he's learned from, we're going to talk about him throughout the course of this game. Temple's got a great guy in Al Golden.
Kehehaku Inhada keeps it himself. He's across midfield. He'll get down to the Temple 44-yard line before he is spun around just short of the 43, and he will have a Navy 1st down. Now, Scott, we have seen some experienced defenses go up against this offense. What Temple has with so much youth, this has got to be like, just really going, wow, look at this.
Yeah, I was talking to Mark D'Onofrio before the game. He said the difficult thing is in, defending the option. It's tough enough, if your own team even plays it and you have to practice it every day. But we, in essence, had 3 days to prepare for it, and you're trying to teach the freshmen and sophomores. It's tough to convey what you have to do as far as, sticking with your responsibilities and your keys.
Adam Ballard slams into the pile down to the 40. He'll gain 3. Ryan Gore coming up to make the stop along with Walter Mebane. Good core up front, too. Terrence Knighton, the big nose guard, 6'4", 305-pound sophomore. Really good nose guard to build around on that defense for the Temple Owls. He's going to have a big game today against James Rossi in that Navy front to try and neutralize the fullback. 2nd down and 7 for the midshipmen. Kaipo calls the audible at the line of scrimmage. Campbell the short motion, now the reverse pivot. And Hot pitches to Sunray. He's got an alley up across the 30, down near the 26-yard line. It'll be a gain of 14 and another Navy 1st down.
Nice job by Kaipo right there at the line of scrimmage, changing the play. What it looked like was a check with me. It's an even set for Navy. He runs the triple option to the right side. You're going to see cornerback George Coleman came up right there. Good job by Kaipo reading that, getting the pitch outside. Coleman ended up making the tackle.
That's got to be a split-second thing, too, that the quarterback sees something, because obviously the play clock continues to wind down, and a good job by the sophomore there to audible Navy into a play. Hines in motion. Kehehaku Inhada keeps it himself. Across the 15, down near the 11. It'll bring up another Navy 1st down, 1st and 10 from the Temple 11-yard line.
That's one of the things when Brian Hampton went down, and we all saw that horrific leg injury that he had you wondered if this offense wouldn't skip a beat. Kaipo's done a nice job. You take a look at the fake to Adam Ballard. We didn't know if Adam Ballard was going to play along with James Rossi today, but they're both in here on the first drive. Nice fake by Ballard, and Kaipo just took it right up the middle.
Kehihaku Inhata gives it to his big fullback, who plunges down inside the 10 of the 8-yard line. Gains 3. It'll be second down and 7. And again, Walter Mabane, number 44, a guy's name we're going to call an awful lot on that Temple defense, coming in to make this stop. There you see head coach Paul Johnson. Navy doing an outstanding job in the red zone. Those are good numbers right there, Scott.
Well, the big thing right there, 26 touchdowns to only 7 field goals. A lot of colleges, you look at it, it's usually right around 60% touchdowns, but Navy very effective. You see it right here, that's one of the reasons.
On the reverse pivot, carries it into the end zone, an 8-yard touchdown run. Navy on the board first.
Nice methodical drive. Navy came out to open up the drive with play action fake. Take a look at Inhata right here coming around the left end. He seems like a shiftier runner than Brian Hampton. Hampton's more of the fullback, a bigger bruising type quarterback. This guy has a little bit quicker feet. He scares you a little more in the passing game, and when you have that double threat, it makes it tough on you.
Temple has a man down on the field, just short of the goal line. Kaipanoa Kehihaku Inhata had a great lineage in this offense before he even got to Navy. Played for Michael Carter, who was his high school coach, who played for Paul Johnson at Hawaii and was one of the most effective quarterbacks in the history of Paul Johnson's offense. And by getting that tutelage at the high school level, you can see where, even as a sophomore here at the college level, as he talks to quarterbacks coach Ivan Jasper right there, he's already a step ahead of most young quarterbacks would be in this offense.
And even earlier in the season, when Brian Hampton had struggled at times, you had raved about Kaipo and what a great spring that he had, and you know, he's actually the better thrower, and Paul Johnson would not hesitate when Brian Hampton was struggling, and that was one of the greatest things last year. When Lamar Owens struggled, he would get Hampton into the game, and that experience last year for Hampton helped him at the start of this year, and I think that's the same situation you have right here. So now all of a sudden this offense does not skip a beat.
See Paul Johnson talking to slot backs coach Jeff Munkin right there. Jeff Munkin, a guy whose name has also bounded about potential head coaching openings on the college football landscape. Richard Shepard, the injured Temple player, the sophomore out of Philadelphia, is up and walking off under his own power. That's always good to see. Matt Harmon will kick the PAT here for Navy at the 8:54 mark of quarter number 1. Midshipman trying to move to 8-3 on the year. Harmon, who had to step into the kicking role with Joey Bullen going down this year. And the kick is up, and the kick is true. 8:54 to go here in quarter number 1. The nation's number 1 rushing offense. Looking good here early. They've got a 7-0 lead on the Temple Owls. Back with more CSTV.
Expensive custom planes and costly protective laminates? Not anymore. Now create temporary graphics or get temporary protection with Duplicolor's hot new Car Art and Shield. With Car Art, add flames, scallops, or street graphics for the weekend. And with Shield, protect your vehicle's trouble areas from bugs, rocks, and road grime. Car Art and Shield are easy to use, dry in less than a minute, and with a simple wash, leave no residue. Start creating and protecting today with Duplicolor's Car Art and Shield. Go to duplicolor.com to find the retailer nearest you.
Cotland Gardner is a real Geico customer, not an actor. So to help tell her story, we hired an actor.
My husband totaled our new SUV on my birthday.
But you know I still love him.
Less than 6 hours after the accident, the Geico claim adjuster was at my house.
Well, I put on some tangerine lip gloss and answered the door.
Geico service turned out to be the best birthday present I could ever want.
I was one lucky woman.
Geico. Real service, real savings.
The Mountain West's biggest game of the year is next Saturday on CSTV. At 3:30, BYU battles Utah in the Holy War. These two bitter enemies meet up for the 82nd time in the latest chapter of this storied rivalry. Touchdown! Then at 7:30, Marshall brings CUSA's top rushing attack into Hattiesburg to take on Southern Miss. Don't miss all the hard-hitting action and fierce showdowns next Saturday, beginning at 3:30. Football is a way of life. Live it with CSTV.
Back in Maryland State Capitol, the Navy midshipmen out to its 7-0 lead over the Temple Owls. Kaipanoa Kehehaku and Hada engineering a non-play 77-yard, 3-minute, and 46-second drive there for the midshipmen. The first kickoff covered by Rich Lippincott, one of the two 12th mids on today for Navy. This one, it'll be Clint Desjardins, the senior out of Anchorage, Alaska, Colony High School. And I still say it's got to give these guys goosebumps to know that they're wearing the same number as Roger Staubach here at the Naval Academy.
Oh, it's great. And, you and I did the sprint game, and you saw Staubach's jersey, got to see the Heisman, the nice shrine that they have built down there. But you talk about Desjardins. He was originally an alternate. He wasn't supposed to be. And Paul Johnson said at the end of this week, he looked so good in practice, we're going to add a second guy. So now there's two 12th mids today. And take a look at him right here, running down under the kick.
Travis Shelton to take it into the goal line. Shelton back to the 5, up to the 10, 20, 25. Got a little bit of an alley. Sidesteps to the 30, flag down. Cuts back inside again. Shelton finally going to be dragged down at the 34-yard line. And the sophomore electrifying return man, Al Golden, has got one right there in Travis Shelton.
Wait for the call here. This one's definitely coming back, but this guy's been special. He's only played in 50% of the games this year. Still leads Temple in all-purpose yardage, over 1,039 yards.
And the call against the Owls.
Holding. On the return team.
I was wondering about
number 38,
Desjardins. He did take a little bit of a shot there on the kickoff.
First down, Temple.
Crowd doesn't like it.
Still got up, though, and tried to hustle the play down from behind. Fans, want to welcome in our extended network around the world, CSTV. We're welcoming our servicewomen and servicemen around the world watching today's game on the American Forces Network. We appreciate all that you're doing to defend our great country. Temple Owls from the 17-yard line, rather, will scrimmage, make it the 16. DeMichael will audible at the line of scrimmage. Offset formation behind him. Short step, throws out, ball tip. Ty Adams gets the paw on it. It'll bring up second down and 10.
You saw Keenan Little on the top in coverage. What DeMichael saw right there was the cornerback was off 8 to 10 yards. Checked a quick out, but a nice job up front. Good push, good alertness right there, getting your hands up when you stop rushing the passer. You don't have a shot at the quarterback. Get the hands up, try and deflect the pass.
Brings up second down and 10. Ty Adams, one of 35 Navy seniors, playing their final home game today. He has selected Marine Corps ground for his service selection, and a flag down. Looks like early movement against the Owls.
.74 offense. Remains second down.
Bill Algie heading up our Mid-American Conference crew, and Al Golden talked about that, Scott, this week with us. Once this game is over today, they can now concentrate on being a full-time MAC affiliate in football and really work towards some goals where the MAC obviously has some conference bowl tie-ins.
That's the thing. I was talking to him before the game, and he said that's one of the reasons I took this job, because of the MAC conference, because we could go out and recruit kids, and we could get into Ohio and some of the schools. If you don't want to go to one of those schools, Temple's where you can come. We could be competitive in this conference.
DeMichael looking long for Shelton, and it's just a little bit short. Shelton covered on the play by Keenan Little. It'll bring up third down and 15.
Back to Travis Shelton, number 22, the receiver. This guy's averaging over 18 yards per catch. And if you look at Temple as far as the way they score points, and as I said, he only played 50% of the game so far this year. They average 16.8 points per game when he's in the football game or when he's playing, as opposed to only 6.8 without him.
Obviously right there, drawing the ire of his coach Al Golden, perhaps a route running issue right there. And that's something that, obviously, with experience, he'll get better at. Third down and 15. Play clock at 3. DeMichael back to throw. Looking out here near side. Has his man at the 22-yard line. It'll be short of the first down. You could hear the crowd going, ooh, as Bruce Francis not only caught it, but took a tremendous hit there at the point of the play.
It's still not the first down, but you look at DeMichael sitting in the pocket, really steps into this throw, fires it. Al Golden likes his young quarterback. He said this kid is going to be good.
So to bring up fourth down, Brownell will come on to punt. Jason Tomlinson back again for Navy, standing at his 40-yard line. 7.5 minutes to go here in the first half. Navy will be getting the ball back for the second time. Brownell gets the boot away. High kick, doesn't turn over. And Tomlinson fair catches at the 41, where Navy will scrimmage when we return. 7-0 Navy. Kaipanoa, Kehehaku, and Hata coming back for the Mids in a moment on CSTV.
Be great to hear exactly what you want on radio? Then say yes to over 130 channels of Sirius satellite radio. Say yes to 100% commercial-free music from rock to pop, hip-hop to country. Yes to every NFL game, the NBA, college sports, and NASCAR coming this January. Yes to comedy, news, talk, and more. To a subscription that's less than 50 cents a day. Say yes and join over 10 million listeners. Say no to limited choices and interruptions. And now get a radio plus a 3-month subscription for less than $99. Sirius, the best radio on radio.
Need a hand?
No, I need a new car.
Whoa, I see what you mean.
Aren't you the 1-800-BAR-NONE sock puppet?
Yours truly.
Could they help me?
Sure. If you need car financing, even if you have bad credit, 1-800-BAR-NONE could get you approved in minutes. Going up.
1-800-BAR-NONE? You can? I am? Really?
Need a car, not a tow? Then call 1-800-BAR-NONE.
Our hero.
Mommy, can we keep him?
Everyone deserves a second chance. Bar none. Call now.
The beat, the rhythm, the pulse of Football Nation. There's one place to find it all.
Making a couple of tackles, making more now.
Get the total experience of HBCU football all season long on CSTV.
Are you kidding me?
Thursday at 2, Tuskegee takes on Alabama State in the Turkey Day Classic. Watch HBCU football presented by the U.S. Navy. Football is a way of life. Live it with CSTV.
Back in Annapolis, Navy leading it here by a score of 7-0. There you see Kaipanoa, Kehehaku, and Hata. Let's get to know him a little bit better. Played 3 sports in high school. Started the year 3rd on the depth chart. And by this point in the season, responsible for a 6-touchdown performance a week ago against Eastern Michigan. And only going to get better as he's only started a handful of games here for the midshipmen. 1st and 10, the ball at the 42-yard line. Kehehaku and Heta sidesteps a man and gets hit at the 44-yard line. Coming up out of the secondary, George Coleman, sophomore, 6 foot, 175-pounder for the Owls.
That's 4th tackle George Coleman's already made in his football game. He has good nose for the football, great on the run support, coming up from the corner position.
Gain of 3 to bring up 2nd down and 7. Coleman out of Levittown, Pennsylvania. Kehehaku and Hata with a long count, runs the option down the right side and throws down in the backfield. And the man we talked about earlier, one of them, number 52, shooting through there on the play for the Owls, Brian Sanford, who is just a freshman, 6'2", 230 pounds, out of Hartford. Got there in a hurry.
The reason this play blew up is you watch the fake to the fullback, a very poor relationship right here with Zerbin Singleton. Zerbin Singleton's already lateral to Kaipo. Kaipo had nowhere to go with the pitch, and then it's just 2-on-2 right there. He gets thrown for the loss.
Great job by Sanford that time to get rid of his man as well and shed the block on 3rd down. Kehehaku and Hata to pass. Gets it away, and Jason Tomlinson has it bounce right before he gets there. And it'll bring up a punting situation for Navy, something they have not done over the past 2 games. So Greg Vittetto, who was basically riding the stationary bike on the
bike down there,
he will be coming onto the field here for the midshipmen, or so we think. There you see Kehehaku and Hata getting some tutelage from Ivan Jasper. And there's Greg Vittetto, who's had a pretty decent season for the midshipmen. They average down basically because Navy has done a majority of its punting up near the 50 and 40 of the opponents. Vittetto gets this one away. Wobbly kick, somewhat up the side of his foot. Takes a Navy bounce inside the 20-yard line. Tim Brown picks it up back there, runs backwards, trying to get an angle. Brown's got an alley right side. He needs 2 guys blocked, and he runs out of field. But Tim Brown with an exciting return for the Temple Owls. He got them out of a jam right there. 7-0 Navy on CSTV.
Intelligent key technology that knows you. Seats that hug you. spoils you. The next Nissan Maxima, part of the next generation of Nissan thinking.
Coming up next, it's the latest chapter in one of football's most storied rivalries. Lehigh and Lafayette have been battling it out on the gridiron since 1884. Now this game can make or break the season for both teams.
Touchdown, Lehigh!
It's Lehigh and Lafayette coming your way next. Football is a way of life. Live it with CSTV.
I am so hungover.
And you've got to be at work in an hour.
How come you feel so good? You drank more than I did.
I took Chaser, remember?
Chaser?
Chaser Caplets.
Take 2 Chaser Caplets with your first drink and 2 more later. Chaser is made of specially processed calcium carbonate and charcoal. These ingredients absorb toxins and acids, then pass them out of your system, kind of like a filter. The next morning, you'll wake up feeling great.
Looks like you should have taken Chaser too.
Chaser products are available at these fine stores.
They are ordinary men who gaze into the future. Crystal Ball, the future of football, every Wednesday at 7 Eastern and 8 Pacific on CSTV.
7-0 Navy as Al Golden exhorts his troops on the far side. This is just the first of a bunch of football games coming your way on Football Nation today. The quadruple header rolls on. First at 4, we bring you complete coverage from football's oldest rivalry as Lehigh and Lafayette meet up for the 142nd time. Then we head down to Hattiesburg for a Conference USA showdown featuring UAB and Southern Miss, followed by Montana and Montana State at 11:30. Football, it's a way of life. Live it with CSTV. Navy's first punt in 133 minutes plus of football.
For 9 quarters.
After the adventurous Tim Brown return, he gets the call on first down. Hit at the line of scrimmage. It'll bring up second down and 10 yards to go. Jeremy Miles, the outstanding freshman up from the secondary on the hit.
Take a look at the run support right here from the safety position. This is what Temple needs to do. They need to stick with the run today. You can't get into situations where you're throwing it on first down. You're not picking up first downs. I think it's going to kill you. And you saw Al Golden when we came back from break. This guy's coaching. He said one of the toughest things that I have is this team is so young that each time we go out, we go at new places. At State College last week. Here you are at Marine Corps Stadium this week. It's new to the kids. I'm coaching them every play, every series.
Play action, DeMichael. Tidwell running after him. DeMichael still running toward the sideline. Has it complete out on the far side. Bundy on the catch near the 28-yard line. As we showed you Navy super sophomores earlier, Temple, another team under Al Golden, as he said to us this week, a lot of these guys, Scott, we won't let go of until 2008.
No, it's amazing. And it does help recruiting because when you go out, you walk into the living rooms of high school seniors and you're trying to convince them to come to Temple, you could lay it out, you could show them right there. We got 46 freshmen right there. You talk about 21 of them, true freshmen, have played for this football team this year. So now are you a high school kid, and if you want to go to one of the bigger schools and one of the more popular ones, you want to sit for 3 or 4 years and you may not even play, or you can go to Temple and play right away.
DeMichael going to be sacked on the play. Senior John Chan out of the Powerhouse High School program at De La Salle in the backfield. And he gets the sack, and it'll bring up a 4th down situation.
John Chan, one of the bigger guys up front. This guy has a great motor, comes off 2 blocks, finds DeMichael, but you look at DeMichael sit in the pocket. He does a good job right here, filling the pressure right there. And sometimes when you're a young quarterback, you just tend to throw it up, throw it away in the middle. You end up turning the football over. Right there, you punt it. Your defense did a good job. That was a big stop for Temple in the last series because it's still a 7-0 ball game.
Brownell on to punt again. End over end kick. Takes a bounce, hits Jeremy Miles, but it bounces out of bounds. Fortunately, Miles was trying to run away from it, and it goes out of bounds. Time now to take a look at our Xbox Live Big Play Replay from Navy's first series. And why not start with Kaipanoa Kehehaku and Hata through the air?
That's the first play of the ball game right there to Adam Ballard. Didn't know if he was going to play today, but you take a look at Kaipo right here on the run, reading the blocks, and you're going to see the big 6-point touchdown run right here. Coming off the play action fake to Ballard, finds the end zone, puts Navy up 7-6.
The Xbox Live Big Play Replay. There you see Navy with 31 touchdowns, and no surprise, the quarterbacks, 19 of them. Navy from the Temple 48. Kehehaku and Hata pitches to Reggie Campbell coming right side. Singleton out in front laying the blocking for him. He gets down to the Temple 39. It'll be 2nd down and 1.
Reggie Campbell, another underclassman. You still have sophomores like Katani. You still have Shun White. Those guys are going to be here for 2 years. But you take a look at Campbell right here. This is where he makes his money. I mean, you get him going on the downfield toss. They love to put him in the slot, get him in motion, get him going downhill, and get the quick flip to him.
Receiver senior Jason Tomlinson also with a good block down the field. Campbell in motion. And it's Ballard across the Temple 35 down to the 34-yard line. He will have a Navy first down. Ryan Gore on the stop for the Owls.
Back to Temple, 46 of the members of this football team have 2 or more years of eligibility left. When you think about that, the number of kids that are playing, you sit there and you say, hey, yeah, we're 1-10, but as I said, we talked about Rutgers before and what Shiano's done to turn that program around. That's kind of the blueprint Al Golden's looking at.
Haku and Hada down to the 34-yard line, or 30-yard line rather. 94, Philip Simpson, sophomore on the stop for the Owls, out of Miami, Florida.
For the most part in this first quarter, Temple's done a nice job eliminating the big play. I mean, Navy's been methodical in their first drive. I think it was a 9-play drive to start the football game, ended up in a touchdown, but they held them to, a pretty good 3 and out on the last series. And now they're keeping them under, runs of 5, 6, 7 yards.
2nd down and 5, pitch out, coming near side, 20-yard line. Shun White cuts it back across the 10 and down to the 3-yard line. 1st and goal for Navy.
Of course, my timing's impeccable because there you have Shun White right there break off a 28-yard run. Take a look at the sophomore right here. It's just another downhill pitch. Navy comes out in an even set, and I think Kaipo's going with a lot of the check with me's as to where he's coming down to the line of scrimmage. He reads the strong safety. The strong safety's down to the left side. They're going to run the toss to the right.
So Paul Johnson talking during one of the timeouts, talking about the wide receivers needing to block. Tyree Barnes with a good block that time. Haku and Hada follows Ballard into the end zone. And Navy on the board again at 112, 13-0 Midshipmen.
Four touchdowns on the ground last week for Kaipo, but you take a look at him right here. It just follows the lead block. Good job by Ballard, sealing off the left side. Watch 22, the fullback, come up, seals it off for the quarterback. Unscathed, untouched into the end zone.
Andrew McGinn, the sophomore tackle out of Marietta, Georgia, also with a nice wall off there, and Matt Harmon adds the extra point. So Navy, for the 2nd time here in this first quarter, gets into the end zone. Kaipanoa, Haku and Hada giving the Brigade of Midshipmen more push-ups to do here. At the 112 mark is Navy now out to a 14-0 lead. See Al Golden, and the one thing we've seen already in this first quarter, Scott, watching Al Golden on the sidelines, and it's sort of the same thing that Paul Johnson had to do when he arrived at Navy. When things are breaking down, he is holding people accountable. He is going to those players on the sideline when they make a mistake or when they're in the wrong position, and you're seeing him talk to them and getting something going there. As for Al Golden, let's go down to Sheehan Stanwyck Birch.
Well, guys, you're talking about how Al Golden's trying to build this program. And one of the things he wanted to focus on and take advantage of when he got here is take advantage of the local talent. So he created a program called Local 215, which is the local area code. And it's an opportunity to bring in walk-ons to the program, incentivize them to try to compete for a starting position and eventually get a scholarship. And he's had a lot of success in terms of bringing people onto the field and creating a local buzz and trying to get more players and more talent to the program.
And as you can see, you see a lot of Pennsylvania dresses on this roster. As we mentioned, he's also in the Temple program, also been able to dip down into the Washington area for some high school talent as well. The good thing about Temple, and Al Golden mentioned this, they don't really have to go that far away from home to recruit players because of the metropolitan cities, which are somewhat in close proximity to Philadelphia. And there you see Rich Lippincott going to get his 2nd tour of duty for the 12th minute on the kickoff. Shelton from the 3, back to the 10, at the 15, 20, stutter step and whoops, here he comes. Travis Shelton spun down at the 16-yard line. Byron McCoy for the Midshipmen with a special teams tackle. 5 plays, 48 yards, and 1 minute, 53 seconds for another Kaipanoa Kehehaku and Hana touchdown.
Shelton might not get a lot of yardage on the return, but I tell you what, this kid's fun to watch.
He's a highlight filmman himself. Had a big return against Clemson this year, and I think that's the one breakout return when Temple really knew that they had someone special in that position and a game-breaking type player for this offense. And here he comes to the near side of the field. Twin receivers to the bottom, single receiver to the top. Offset backfield, play action fake to Michael. The nice fake, rolls it out, throws to Francis across the 20, 22-yard line. Little and Miles knock him out of bounds. It'll bring up second down and about 4.
It's just a little counter fake to the backside. Take a look at the Michael right here in the pocket. Does a good job on the play action. You see the pursuit of the Navy defense, gets his shoulder square, finds Francis out in the flat. Little passes like that, that's the way to start drives. Now you're looking at a 2nd and 5, and it's a much better, I don't want to say it's a much better situation where you can start to call plays to put the ball downfield, but it's convertible first downs. That's what they need to do. Not necessarily score points, but move the sticks, take some time off this clock.
Tim Brown up across the 25, near the 26, and he will be close to Temple's first down of this game as the clock paused momentarily as the referee is going to look over to the sideline to see if it's a first down or whether he has to bring in the chains. And we will get a measurement here from our Mid-America Conference officiating crew. So Bill Algie, our referee, the umpire Tim Owens, head linesman today is Greg Nowak. The line judge, Jeff Bauer. Dennis Jackson's the field judge. Mike Conlon, the side judge. And the back judge is Matt Edwards. Paul Johnson looking on with interest, obviously. But as you mentioned, Scott, the fact that they got 6 yards on first down, now, even though it's third down, you're 3rd and 8 inches as opposed to 3rd and 10, where they have been a couple times in this quarter.
No, you're right, Pete. You're not looking at 3rd and 11 where you have to have the Michael sit in the pocket and try and make throws downfield with inexperienced receivers and the awareness of, where the sticks are. That's something you don't have to think about right there. And, Al Golden right there, he wanted them to pick the first down up.
Now, when they reset the change, the clock will start, so more than likely Al Golden will have plenty of time to mull over with George DeLeon as offensive coordinator this upcoming 3rd down play for the Owls once they reset the chains. And DeMichael's not even into the huddle, and Temple will let the clock run out. End of 1 quarter here in Annapolis. Admiral Rempt leading the mids in today. Navy seniors looking good so far. 14-0 Navy after 1 on CSTV.
Anyone here?
What's up, Jeff?
Let me get in on this one.
I'm not really good with goodbyes, so
This Thanksgiving, Dish Network Pay-Per-View is bringing home the entertainment with these great movies: The Breakup, The Lake House, Curious George, X-Men: The Last Stand. These fantastic films are ready to put the finishing touches on your holiday celebration. You'll find these movies and many more on channels 500 through 539. So relax, warm up some leftovers, and order a movie with your remote from Dish Network Pay-Per-View.
Attention parents. Cerebral palsy and Erb's palsy are not diseases. They may be due to medical mistakes during pregnancy or birth. If your child was born with cerebral palsy or Erb's palsy, call now to discuss your rights. You may be entitled to compensation. Again, if your child was born with cerebral palsy, Erb's palsy, or any other serious birth injury, call 1-800-793-0529 in confidence. That's 1-800-793-0529.
Over the last 100 years, millions of NCAA student athletes have gone pro in something other than sports.
Welcome back to Annapolis, Maryland, where the Navy midshipmen lead it here by a score of 14-0 as we get ready to start quarter number 2. Alongside Scott Zolak, I'm Pete Medhurst. Glad to have you with us. Third and less than a yard here for the Owls, who have converted less than 1/4 of their third down conversions so far today. 0 of 3, no first downs as we start quarter number 2. And on the carry, based on the spot of the line judge near side, I'm not sure if they got this one, Scott.
No, they look like about a half a yard short, Pete, but you look at them on the air, like you said, 24% on third down, where they only hit on 34 of 141.
They are short.
Michael tries to get the keep. There's just no push from the center. I actually think that's a pretty good spot, because I don't think he gained an inch.
The tip of the ball is just over the 26, and it looks like they needed to get midway between the 26 and 27 for a first down based on the chains on the far side.
Thought it was a good spot on Temple's behalf.
We'll see what the chain links come up with here. They pull it. It's definitely short. In fact, they may have lost a chain link or two there.
Lost a couple inches. And at some point, you're a 1-10 football team. What else do you have to lose? Maybe you go for it here, but Al Golden elects not to, sends the punting unit on.
So with a 14-0 lead, Paul Johnson will get the football back here as Brownell will come back on to punt here. Temple still without a first down. Rushing yardage in this game, 108 for Navy to just 1 for Temple. There you see Jason Tomlinson back deep for the midshipmen. While Temple may have bigger bodies than Navy does up front, a lot of that, Scott, is in those situations, it's all about attitude and wanting to drive your man off the point of attack.
And it's about the system, too. And, so many times we do Navy football as to where they're outweighed, they're outmeasured each and every week. Remember how big East Carolina was. And it's Paul Johnson's system about finding the tough guys to come in and play tough football.
Good punt by Brownell. Turns over. Tomlinson from the 25. Breaks out of the tackle. Flag down on the play as he is thrown backwards. And I believe Rob Caldwell knows he's the guilty party as he came up, palms up, like, I didn't do that. Bill Algie, the referee, threw the flag. We'll see what he has. Telling the umpire where to walk it off. It'll be against Navy.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 57 of the return team penalized 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
All right, they'll spot the football there. Navy will have it 1st and 10 from their own 19. Let's go downstairs to Sheehan Stanwyck Birch with a very special guest.
I'm here with Brian Hampton. Brian was a starting Navy quarterback until you were sidelined with a knee injury. You tore your ACL, PCL, and LCL about a month ago. You just had surgery. How are you feeling?
I feel pretty good. I really didn't worry about my leg too much. I was just worried about my team, and as you can see, they're doing a pretty good job, so I feel real good.
But you're out here today. You're moving quite well up and down the sideline and no brace on, so recovery must be going well.
Yeah, I think I had the best of any doctors, and
we'll stop right here, Pete.
All right, Sheehan, Kaipanoa, Kehehaku, and Hana trying to make Brian proud as he scrambles after he looked downfield, didn't have anybody, runs it all the way down to the 32-yard line for another Navy first down.
Oh. Perfect segue right there. Your role with Kaipo, he's really taken over the reins nicely. What have you been doing on the sideline to help him?
Just small things, letting him know what he may not see, because the game is going pretty fast when, you're just behind the center. So I'll tell him, different things that they're lining up and different actions that they may do that may help him to call different checks or run a different angle. And everything seems to be working so far, so I don't really have to do too much out there. These guys are doing wonders out here, so I don't have to really do too much. But when I can, I try to give them some advice.
Well, I'm sure they miss you. Thanks so much for your time. Back up to you, Pete.
All right, Sheehan, thank you, and thank you, Brian. Wants to be a Marine flight officer. Shun White on the carry, but a flag down and a holding call against the midshipmen. It'll be from the point of the foul, which will virtually make it 1st and 10 all over again. As you see Shun White coming back to the huddle, and Navy will regroup and Brian Hampton, part of a senior group, as we've pointed out through these broadcasts. He was once a running back here wearing number 40. Eventually would play quarterback, but those numbers right there, Scott, say it all, especially that one at the bottom.
Well, and you look at it, the big one too, Navy. It's a team, it's the first team in school history to receive 4 straight bowl game invites with 4 different quarterbacks. Now UCLA holds the record at 6-6, but a 7-0 record against the service academies. That's the big one, the Commander-in-Chief's trophy, how important it is to the midshipmen.
The walk-off goes back to the 36-yard line. It'll be 1st and 14 for the Mids. Campbell in motion. The give on the reverse pivot to Ballard, the fullback. He'll gain about 4 up to the 32. It'll bring up 2nd down and 10. Checking Eric Catani in on the carry for the first time.
A nice job by Kaipo on the one scramble where they caught Temple, and that's some of the risks that you take when you play man-to-man coverage in the secondaries. When things break down, those guys that are back there locked on receivers on the other side of the field, you don't really have the ability to turn and look and see where the quarterback's going. Kaipo slipped out the back door, ended up having a big gainer and set him up in nice field position.
He is 8 yards short of 100 here in this first half. Quick pitch coming left side, Reggie Campbell. Campbell narrowly 25, sidesteps a man 20, 15, down to the 10-yard line. It'll be a first down for Navy. It'll be marked just short of the 10 at the 11. Navy will have a 1st and 10.
You take a look at Campbell right here coming downhill on the pitch, and what he does is he just breaks tackles. You can't come up an arm tackle, and that's what Temple did right there. It's a little quick motion. What it does, it gets him going full speed, puts him on the perimeter. Now he's running at full speed as opposed to Temple defenders that are stopped having to cut on a dime and try and tackle him.
Gain of 21 on the play. 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line. Mids have been in the red zone twice and scored twice. Kehehaku and Hada coming left side. Maintains his balance. Pitches it to Sean White, and he's into the end zone for another Navy touchdown.
This is one athletic play by your quarterback. You look at him come on the reverse option, loses his balance, keeps it enough to maintain a great relationship with the pitch man. You're going to see him almost go down, get the hand down on the ground, still have the ability to make the pitch to Shun White. That's an easy 7 points right there, Pete.
And Temple calling timeout. Al Golden talking to the referee on the far side. I think he wants the play reviewed, thinking that that might have been a forward lateral. You mentioned a great job by Nhata putting the hand down. And at this point, if you're Al Golden, he's got nothing to lose because...
Well, that's the only thing you can really be checking right now, because I don't think there's any way where Kaipo's knee had hit the ground right there when he lost his balance. He was kind of going down. He put the football in the offhand, got the right hand down. We're up here in the booth, and we had a pretty good angle at it. I don't think that was a lateral. It's a good job by our guys up top with the slow-mo. You see the hand go down. Watch where his left foot is. He's already over the 5-yard line. That's
the problem is
it's got to be so conclusive to overturn the original call on the field, and that's one of the great things about replay is there is human error involved, and I think the officiating crews have done a nice job, but the evidence on the video has got to be so far to overturn the original call. It's got to be conclusive, and that looks like it was backwards. It looks like it was a good pitch.
Yeah, definitely not forward. Certainly lateral, but definitely not forward. Of course, that's the best look that you're going to get at it in that situation. And unless you, on plays like that too, unless you've got a camera that just follows the play right down the sideline, you're never going to really ever see a view that gives you conclusive evidence of whether it was a forward or backward pitch in that situation.
And even if the ruling doesn't come to true, I mean, this is a point where Al Golden, kind of slows him down. He buys his team a timeout right here. This is the best high-angle look that we have. You look at him come off the reverse option. He loses his balance right there. And it looks like it's a good play.
Yeah,
I'd be surprised if this is overturned.
Looks like he's between the 7 and 8, and he pitches it to White, who's standing between the 7 and the 8. Navy 1 yard short of 200 yards rushing with 12:18 to go in quarter number 2. So the nation's #1 rushing offense piling up the numbers here early in this one. Take a look at the instant replay numbers, Scott. The ones we have seen here on CSTV, for the most part, the officials have gotten right.
Following review, video confirms the call on the field. Touchdown, Navy.
As you hear by the cheering crowd, the video confirms.
I think that what that supports is, you know, the referees and overall have been doing a very nice job. You know, from the games you and I have had here, we haven't seen many plays overturned.
So Temple charged with the timeout for the review. Matt Harmon on for the extra point out of a Jared Bryant hold, and the pace we're going, Navy fans likely to see number 2, who's the number 2 quarterback. Harmon drills it right down the middle, and Navy has a 21-0 lead. More push-ups for the midshipmen as Kaipanoa, Kehehaku, and Hada maintains his balance. Shun White does the rest. Navy 21-0 on CSTV.
All power with no shift shock. The next Nissan Maxima with CVT, part of the next generation of Nissan thinking.
How can it be offensive if it's true?
Okay, first of all, I'm not 100% in love with your tone right now.
Tone aside, historically, you guys have struggled to adapt.
Yeah, right. Walking upright, discovering fire, inventing the wheel, laying the foundation for all mankind. You're right. Good point. Sorry we couldn't get that to you sooner.
Connie, your reaction?
Sounds like someone woke up on the wrong side of the rock.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
This Thanksgiving, we here at CSTV would like to give thanks to the things that make college sports truly special. The turkeys.
For the tie. Can you say wide right 3?
Are you kidding me? Gather around CSTV on Thanksgiving Day for the #1 college sports show Special Turkey Countdown, as we reveal who you, the fans, voted as the #1 turkey play of all time.
Oh, the band is out on the field! Oh, my goodness!
Thursday at 5 only on CSTV.
Back at Annapolis, the Navy midshipmen 21-0 over the Temple Owls with 12:18 to go here in the second quarter. 5 plays, 81 yards, 2 minutes and 7 seconds. And Shun White, that time, Scott, did a very good job of maintaining his pitch relationship with his quarterback, who stumbled momentarily to maintain the relationship and eventually get a touchdown.
That's one thing that they fixed on the sideline, which prevented Kaipo earlier in the game where he got hit in the backfield, took a 2-yard loss. That's something they fixed. And I guarantee you Paul Johnson was in their face, got involved. He did a nice job, and as you said, during the one timeout, getting the offensive line down, tell them where the under and the understated nose tackle was, and how Temple, even though they are young on defense, they don't have enough guys matched up as to where Navy wants to run the football in the areas, and just stick with the check with knees, and they're doing a good job.
Harmon, high short kick. Shelton from the 17, up the middle to the 25, over the 30-yard line. And again, Byron McCoy down on special teams. There you see Clint Desjardins, as the mids will alternate those 12th mids on each kickoff here today. In case you're just joining us, Desjardins and Rich Lippincott, 2 members of the brigade, able to come out and try out and impress the coaching staff so much that they both stuck.
More importantly, wear Roger Staubach's number.
How about it? There you see the average yards per play for each team. DeMichael with a double tight end set. Hand off the ground, thrown down in the backfield. David Wright, the senior nose tackle out of Millis, Massachusetts, makes the stop.
This is one of the last things you want to do for Temple, is to have a loss on first down. David Wright, 21 tackles on the year, but you take a look at him right here. Good job coming off the block. Bad job on the right guard for Temple, staying with him too long. He's got to come off that block with the center, find where Wright is. Very disruptive. Good job getting in the backfield. Temple struggling to make first downs today. You stay at this pace, your defense is going to get worn out. They're going to be on the field all day. At some point, this ball game is going to be over in the second quarter.
But A fake option, and DeMichael able to get away from one man. Has wide open field here to the near side. And finally runs out of bounds. Good pursuit on the Navy defense by Tyler Tidwell as DeMichael had a lot of real estate. And he's able to move it up to the 36-yard line. Gain of 4 to bring up 3rd down and 6. Good pursuit by Tidwell because it looked like DeMichael had a lot of room to run.
He came from a long way away, and I thought he was going to run for maybe 30 yards. DeMichael, just off the play action fake. They're trying to give you that option look. The play breaks down, scrambles to the right. Tidwell made up about 40 yards coming from the other side of the field.
Tyler Tidwell has been battling a shoulder issue and continues to play. 3-man front for Navy on 3rd down and 6. They walk Mahoney up to the line of scrimmage. DeMichael to throw. Has a man underneath the formation. But a good strong tackle by Rob Caldwell at the 41-yard line. Brings down Mike Holly, the senior out of Washington, D.C. and Archbishop Carroll High.
And what that's going to do is still leave you 1 yard shy of the first down. So now you're looking at another 4th and 1. And it's back to having these young kids. Take a look at DeMichael in the pocket. I mean, he steps into the throw. But guys coming underneath. It's 3rd and 5, guys. We got to get the sticks. You can't run your routes at 3 yards.
Al Golden going to go for it here, and why not? Not bad field position here. You're at your own 41-yard line. You need the 42. See Caldwell making the sure stop on the play. I formation, Bundy in front of Brown. Harper in motion behind the formation. DeMichael's going to roll out and throw. Under pressure, Mahoney dragged down. Mahoney still after him. Here comes Chan. DeMichael throws it upfield, and it's incomplete. Give Adam DeMichael credit, trying to keep the play alive under tremendous duress. But Temple still without a first down. Navy leads at 21-0 on CSTV.
Be great to hear exactly what you want on radio? Then say yes to over 130 channels of Sirius satellite radio. Say yes to 100% commercial-free music from rock to pop, hip-hop to country. Yes to every NFL game, the NBA, college sports, and NASCAR coming this January. Yes to comedy, news, talk, and more. To a subscription that's less than 50 cents a day. Say yes and join over 10 million listeners. Say no to limited choices and interruptions. And now get a radio plus a 3-month subscription for less than $99. Sirius, the best radio on radio.
If you purchased or refinanced your home a couple of years ago and you got one of those adjustable teaser rates to qualify, well, you may be facing an increase that could raise your monthly payment by hundreds of dollars. What can you do? Well, just call or log on to ditech.com and refinance to a low fixed rate. With Ditech, you can feel confident that you're being taken care of every step of the way. Call 1-800-71-FIXED or log on to ditech.com, a GMAC company.
National champions of women's hockey.
NCAA championships are on CSTV.
Fastest time in the world. And he scores! First NCAA championship. He scores!
Who will be the next NCAA champion?
Lifetime to remember.
To find out, watch Championship Sunday beginning at noon with the NCAA Division I Field Hockey Championship, only on CSTV.
The Brigade of Midshipmen happy with their classmates who have Navy out to a 21-0 lead. Scott, describe this.
I'm not sure, Pete. At this point in the game, you may want to run the football here, but they're trying to run play action to the right side. What it does, it breaks down. Good job by the defense pursuing. DeMichael has no choice but to put the ball in the air, give his guy a chance, and it's kind of the last thing you want, going for 4th down now. You asked, maybe Shal Golden should have went for it on the prior one. It was maybe 4th and inches. 4th and 1, it's tough. There's your rushing yards, 5 to 199. Probably the reason they threw the football.
Quick pitch left, Reggie Campbell for Navy. Temple still without a first down in this half. Good pursuit that time by Philip Simpson and Walter Mabane over to make the stop, but not before. Campbell takes it down to the 30-yard line. Gain of 11 and another Navy first down.
Quarterbacks, 92. Kaipo with 92 on the ground. There's your slot backs. Slot backs being Shun White. Reggie Campbell at 97. And then Ballard ripping off 17.
And here comes the aforementioned Ballard, as he is wrapped up on the play. First hit that time for the Temple defense. 52, Brian Sanford, the freshman. It'll bring up a 2nd down. and about 6.
You can't forget Katani had a tough carry early in the football game too, so he is playing a little bit of fullback.
And this is good news for Paul Johnson because Ballard came in with a little bit of a banged-up ankle, clearly not 100%.
Yeah, he said, it's going to be tough if Adams going to play, and especially, Rossi up front, the big center. You don't know how much he's going to play at all.
Haku and Hata play action fake, Ballard out of the backfield, wide open, and he drops it. Problem for Adam Ballard that time, he was wide open.
Should he have caught the football? Yes. Was it a bad throw by the quarterback? I would say yes. When you have fullbacks and tight ends, he does a great job. Kaipo does right there in the play action fake, gets his shoulder square. You see the fullback right there. He throws it behind him. What you got to do is you got to hit those fullbacks, those tight ends, right between the twos. Put it right on the guy's chest. Make it an easy catch for him. That way he can turn it up and pick up the first down. He was wide open. He may have scored.
Bring up a 3rd down and 6. Speaking of Rossi, he's out at center. Cole Smith at center right now for the midshipmen. Haku and Hot. Short drop, hits Tyree Barnes. Barnes forward to the 16-yard line. He'll have a Navy first down. David Reese, the right corner. Richard Sr. on the stop.
It's a good job picking up the first down, but you look at the slot, it's wide open. I guarantee you right there, Kaipo said, I'm going outside, I'm picking up the first down. But if I would have just given the slot receiver a chance, he was running a streak right down the middle of the field. Safety had no clue where he was at.
First down at 10 for Navy. Twins to the top of the screen. Singleton in motion. Haku in Hata. Gives it to Ballard. Ballard up to the 14-yard line. Terrence Knighton on the stop. Also Doug Morrison on the play for the Owls. Gain of 3, 2nd down at 7. Navy now up to 217 yards rushing in this first half. The nation's leaders at 324. Shun White in motion. Haku, 2nd man through. Down inside the 10 near the 9-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down and 3. Good pursuit by the Temple defense.
You come in and you're averaging 324 yards on the ground, even though you're kind of ineffective with the passing game at only 60. Still puts you at a 384 total per game, and you're still at number 24 in the country. When you talk about total offensive production, that's pretty good.
Paul Johnson, the architect of that offense. On 3rd down and 3, let's see what he's got called here. It's an audible at the line of scrimmage. Trey Hines goes in motion. Quick pitch to Hines going right side. Reggie Campbell with a great block, and Hines into the end zone for a Navy touchdown.
Seems like the best thing about this offense is these kids are so unselfish. If their number's not called, they're still responsible for getting the block. And guys like Jason Tomlinson on the outside, whose names we never say unless the ball's going to be thrown his way. But you take a look at Reggie Campbell. He's on the left side of your screen. Gets outside on George Coleman, the corner, seals it off. It's just putting the guy in motion, putting the slot back in motion, and they run this at will all day long. Navy will kill you with it.
Navy now with a 28-0 lead, and it's got to be good for the senior Hines. Feel good for him to get into the end zone. Last year suffered a serious quad injury where the muscle nearly basically came off the bone, and that really slowed his progress a year ago. Spent some time at fullback, and there you see why Navy's rushing game so vaunted, number 1 in the country last year, and looking like they're going to be number 1 in the country this year. Hard to imagine that anybody could outrush West Virginia with the way Pat White and Steve Slayton run the football.
Play the way they did the other night against Pittsburgh. They couldn't do it against Louisville, but there's Paul Johnson's numbers. He's at Navy. I mean, that's not even factoring what he did at Georgia Southern, but this offense has worked for years, but it's about the belief of getting there. It doesn't matter who's playing, who goes down. You look at, and we talked to Paul Johnson this week. He said, you know what, guys, I finally sat down this week and I looked down the list and saw, how many guys we've had to take out of the lineup due to injury, but yet somebody was ready when their time was called. These guys stepped in, they kept the machine going, and that's why they're ranked number 1 in rushing right now in the country.
And a testament to the job that each position coach does with his players during the course of the season. That means they're doing the work during the week because the players are getting the message and prepared and ready to play. You see Rich Lippincott back on the 12th mids getting great exercise. Look at the guns on him. Look at that.
That's you, Pete.
That's not me. I can assure you.
It's got to cut off your
That is not me.
circulation at some point.
Harmon boots it toward the corner. Harper going to get it at the 14. Across the 20. Knocked down by Jeff DeLees at the 23-yard line. There you see DeLees, who's been a bright spot in the Navy nickel package and on special teams. Paul Johnson, as you mentioned, the injuries that he's had. Starting safety, DeJuan Price. Starting offensive tackle, Josh Meek. The starting kicker, Joey Bullen. And, of course, the injury to Brian Hampton. And the guys responsible for stepping in for those guys, and all of them have had significant roles in Navy's success this year.
Yeah, and you can even put guys like Ballard and Rossi, because at some point Adam Ballard's going to be out of this football game. He's missed some time. They've already taken out James Rossi. But you lose a guy like Rossi, you lose a guy like Meek on the front of that line. So much of this offense, you forget about the guys up front, the five. It's a timing game for them. It's about staying on blocks. Do we stay on the down guy? Who comes off and goes up and gets the Mike backer, the Sam backer? The linemen up front in this offense are as important as the running backs.
Tim Brown on the carry, gains 2. David Mahoney, John Chan on the stop for the midshipman. It'll bring up 2nd down and 8. We see Rob Caldwell, who's been a big part of this Navy defense over the past couple of seasons under coordinator Buddy Green. Super young man if you sit down and talk with him. Right now they have held the Temple rushing game to 7 yards so far in this first half. Shelton in motion across the formation. The Michael play action fake. Looking backside, has Brown out of the backfield. Temple will get its first down. Brown run out of bounds by David Mahoney.
It's exactly the same type of throw where Kaipo had Ballard out in the flat. Yet you look at the running back right here. Take a look at Brown. He comes off the play action fake. The ball's thrown behind him. Yet he gets the feet turned. Good hips right there. Gets to the sideline. Great job by Mahoney covering some ground, just like Tidwell did on the previous series.
Temple's first down of the game, Scott, at the 5:43 mark of this first quarter, or second quarter. DeMichael puts the tight end in motion. Bobbles the snap, picks it up, now has to scramble out to his right. And DeMichael hustles his way upfield. And we got a late flag on the play. Perhaps Holly guilty of a hold, trying to block downfield for his quarterback after the gain of 4.
So not only do you have a broken play right here where the snap was fumbled, now all of a sudden you go outside and you got a holding call.
The one thing we have seen from DeMichael, and again, success has been limited in this ballgame and certainly was a week ago against Penn State, but he shows enough athleticism that as Al Golden and George DeLeon put together offensive packages, he at least gives them a guy that they can do a lot of different things with.
He does, and his brother is also a freshman running back on this football team, plays a little fullback. DeMichael, a very good athlete, a very good high school basketball player. He's from Stowe Rocks High School in McKees Rocks in Western Pennsylvania. Turns out a ton of great talent at the high school level. Yeah, it does a little bit.
The state of Pennsylvania has turned out a few good quarterbacks in its time.
It's in the water.
Ball goes back to the 35. See part of the youngsters that sit on the hillside here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium on Saturdays. 1st and 16 coming up for Temple. They just did get the playoff, and again, DeMichael having a throw. Hits the tight end. Nice job. Marcus Brown makes the catch. DeMichael had David Mahoney crashing in on him, and he was able to get the ball to Marcus Brown. More importantly, Brown saw it, broke down, and gave him the target to throw at.
Yeah, good job by both guys making a play, turning something good out of something could have been just an awful play. Coming off the play action, Navy doing a good job setting the edge in his 3-4 defense, getting the defensive ends to come upfield to put some pressure in his face. DeMichael's got his feet set, figured out where Brown was, and got the ball to him.
Gain of 6 on the play. 2nd and 10 coming up after the Sophie tackle. DeMichael running the option, pitches it to Brown. Brown cuts it upfield near the 45-yard line. Rob Caldwell on the stop for Navy. It'll bring up 3rd down and 6. Temple trying to show Navy a little bit of option of their own here, and DeMichael gets positive yardage there on the pitch to Brown.
This is what they got to do. They got to keep with it. They're starting to get in a little bit of a rhythm here now that they picked up 1 first down. 5 minutes left in the first half. This is what you have to do. You don't want Navy to get the football back here as to where they could really put this thing out of reach. It's already 28-0. Another touchdown or a field goal. It's tough to climb back from this with a young football team.
Shelton the stutter step motion. DeMichael. Caldwell coming in. He throws up. He's got Holly at the 40, down to the 38-yard line. Good throw and catch for the Owls and a first down.
Great poise by DeMichael here, sitting in the pocket. He had two guys breathing down his neck. You want to watch the center. Navy's running a little bit of a game. Here it comes from the backside. Sits in the pocket, waits for his guy to come in. Mike Hawley right across the middle. That's great poise for a sophomore quarterback.
Hawley now with a couple of grabs, sure to have some folks here in the stands. Played a nearby Archbishop Carroll in that very, very tough Washington, D.C. Catholic League, which is being dominated again by powerhouse DeMatha. Brown on the handoff. Ty Adams and David Wright do the meet and greet in the backfield. Loss of 4 on the play, second down and 14.
Yeah, defensively, Navy's starting to bring some run blitzes with the linebackers. They like to stay in a cover 2 in the secondary. It's a cover 2 shell, but if they're going to get pressure, you take a look. Here's 1, here's 2 coming, here's 3. I mean, that's 7 guys around the football. You can't block them. You're outnumbered.
Buddy Green preaches pursuit. They need to get all 11 guys to the football. That time, Navy doing a good job getting in the backfield. Second down and 14. DeMichael on the play action. Right in pursuit this time. DeMichael coming down the right side, runs it out of bounds. At the 40-yard line, he will gain 2. It'll bring up a third down and 12 yards to go. For more on the Temple quarterback, let's go down to Sheehan.
Well, we've seen some flashes of brilliance from Adam DeMichael. He's a gifted athlete, played football, baseball, and basketball, and he actually signed a letter of intent to go play football at Penn State, but got cold feet, decided he didn't want to go there, and then he was actually not released from his signing to Penn State, so went to play junior college, was playing baseball, got drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays, once again doubted what he wanted to do, so he ended up here at Temple, now starting with his brother.
And doing a pretty solid job here for Al Golden this year. Third down, 12. DeMichael pump fakes, gets away from a tackle, creates another play. Looking downfield, has a man open, and it's knocked away at the last minute by Rashawn King.
You got to call something there.
Nick Santa Cruz was open and surprised that we didn't see a little laundry there as King just basically face guarded him to death down the sideline.
Michael continues to evade pressure. You watch him here. He spins out, looks left. He had a guy coming across the middle right there. But I mean, this is the defensive back has to know where the football is.
He pushes him out of bounds.
Take a look at DeMichael's feet. He sets, spins out of it, resets his feet. It's a good throw. I mean, I thought it should have been pass interference on the defense.
It was great. King just put his hands right on Santa Cruz, pushed him out of bounds. 4th and 12, and Al Golden will go for it. Why not? Holly in motion. DeMichael back to throw. Looking across the middle, throws it, and Francis can't make the grab, just a little bit high, and Navy will get the football on downs. 2 minutes, 48 seconds to go, second quarter. Navy gets the ball back up 28-0 on CSTV.
At Nissan, we decided to create a new version of a classic, the Nissan Maxima. With 255 horsepower and CVT technology, the Nissan Maxima redefined performance. With available Bluetooth, hands-free capability, and the intelligent key, it reinvented convenience. The next generation of Nissan thinking in the next Nissan Maxima.
You're pretty. Waiting long?
Yeah, and I'm late.
No car, huh?
Bad credit.
I got a car. Hey, I can't get financing. Sure you can. It's easy. Just call 1-800-BAR-NONE. If you need car financing, even if you have bad credit, 1-800-BAR-NONE could get you approved in minutes. 1-800-BAR-NONE? You can? I am? Really? Scintillating. Need a car? Call 1-800-BAR-NONE. Everyone deserves a second chance, bar none. Call now.
CSTV is the home of the Navy midshipman.
Boy, he is smooth from the outside.
A winning tradition.
Bullseye!
Passionate fans. Unforgettable moments.
The kick is up and it is goal!
The midshipmen play on CSTV.
Goal again for Navy!
Your ultimate destination for everything Navy.
28-0 Navy leading Temple here with 2 minutes and 48 seconds to go. There you see Adam DeMichael running for his life. Meanwhile, his counterpart on the Xbox Live Big Play Replay
Take a look at Kaipo right here under pressure. Catches Temple in the man-to-man defense. Nobody at home in the secondary. Pops off the big play. Sets it up right here. And you look at him keeping the balance. Making the pitch to Shun White for your touchdown. Good job. 2 consecutive plays right there.
The Xbox Live big play replay. Navy ready to scrimmage from their own 40-yard line. They lead at 28-0 with 2 minutes and 48 seconds to go here in the quarter.
Well, you take a look at what they've done in the first half, the last 2 games, 52 points so far.
Kehehaku Inhata to Eric Katani, who makes the catch. And we may have a face mask on the end of the play here as the flag is down at the point of attack, as he and Walter Mabane were the only ones there. And it is.
It's unintentional, so it won't be a 15-yarder. But these are the little things that drive guys like Al Gold and Mark D'Onofrio crazy.
Mask. Defense, number 5, 5-yard penalty. The penalty results
a big play
in
offense
down.
like Navy, you don't want to give them any free yardage as it is.
You take a look, watch the mask right here. He grabs it, feels he's got it, but he lets go.
Ryan Gore, whose father passed away while he was in 7th grade. Gore's had a pretty solid career here at Temple. Fullback Katani up the middle, down near the 40-yard line. Mebane and Sanford on the stop for the Owls. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 2. There you see
Navy
Sanford
trying to speed some things up here. They're aware of the clock, down under 2 minutes now to play in the first half.
2-minute offense running stop. Kehehaku Inhata keeps it himself. Sanford brings him down from behind, but not before he has another Navy first down at the 32-yard line.
Temporarily stops the clock until they get the stick set.
See Byron McCoy brings in the play from Paul Johnson. Stay tuned for the CSTV Football Nation halftime show presented by Nissan. Adam Zucker and Trev Alberts will preview the Ohio State and Michigan game and update the top 25 scores in progress. Kehehaku Inhata keeps it himself. It's down to the 27-yard line. 2nd down and 5 coming up here for Navy with 1:30 to go in the half. There you see Kaipo Noah's numbers today, over 100 yards. Second down. Kehehaku Inhata keeps it himself down to the 20-yard line. It'll be another Navy first down.
Stops the clock. Nice job by Reggie Campbell. He's been in the slot a couple times where they like to go to the 3-wide spread offense, but he comes down. He's responsible for the big guy, whether it's the Will or the Sam linebacker or a strong safety down. And for a little guy to go in there and block, he's done a nice job.
Here's Kehehaku Inhata looking, throwing toward the corner of the end zone, incomplete, and there's a flag down on the play. Dominique Harris with Zervin Singleton in the end zone, and Temple's got to feel that they can't win. A similar play at the other end where no
I don't think it was that similar. I mean, I think this is a little more of a closer call as to where the defender actually turns and looks at the football and tries to bat it down right here, tries to get the offhand in. And if anything of a call, you got to watch the offhand, the left hand, to see if he has it on his back.
21, penalized 15 yards to the 5-yard line.
I don't know.
Automatic
That's
first
tough
down.
call.
That looks like a good defensive play on an underthrown football. And there's a case, and how many times do you see this?
A bad throw that
underthrows,
results.
right?
And a bad play for the defense.
Yeah.
I mean, he had great position. He knew where the football was. And he's trying to tell the ref right there, hey, I saw the football. I'm trying to make a play on it.
First and goal from the 5 now for Navy. 52 seconds remaining. Quick pitch right side. Shun White cuts it back. Sanford hanging on, and he brings him down just short of the goal line. And we get a timeout.
Paul
with
Johnson
43
wants a
seconds
timeout
to
here.
go. It's their first timeout of the half. They will have 2 more. Coming up next, CSTV brings you Game Tracker Live, your chance to get caught up with everything happening in Football Nation. All the scores, all the highlights, the amazing moments and important stories. You'll find it. Game Tracker Live, your one-stop destination for all things college sports. And Zucker and Trev Alberts with the scores coming up. Big game in the ACC today, 2 of them, affecting Navy in an indirect way because Navy will play an ACC opponent in the Meineke Car Care Bowl, and it could be any number of teams right now. Maryland and Boston College playing today. Later, Wake Forest and Virginia Tech. Eagles right now having their way with the Terrapins in the first half at Chestnut Hill.
It seems like right now, and you try and do the projections, if it ended right now and everything stayed true, it would probably be Clemson. Takes place on December 30th, Charlotte, North Carolina. It's a big bowl.
A lot of Navy fans would like to see perhaps the Maryland Terrapins, a great game a year ago at M&T Bank Stadium between those two teams separated by Route 50. Here's the quick pitch left side. Byron McCoy runs it into the end zone for a touchdown on Senior Day. The senior out of Liberty, Missouri scores for the Mids.
Reggie Campbell big time again with the block. You're going to watch Reggie Campbell, folks. He's going to be right here on your side of the screen. He's going to take 2 guys out, 2 defenders in the secondary. Barely can see it right there. But you're putting the guy in motion right here with the quick pitch down. Campbell did such a good job, took him out of your screen.
Byron McCoy, the chemistry major, gets into the end zone. Super standout on special teams for Navy. Gets into the end zone for the very first time. So a couple of seniors getting the call from Paul Johnson here and getting touchdowns for the Mids.
Here, take a look right here. Reggie Campbell, watch him come down, and he's going to take out 2 guys right there. George Coleman seals off the free safety. That's probably what we're going to see throughout the second half. Paul Johnson probably playing a lot of those seniors, maybe some of the more underclassmen, the sophomores, the freshmen. At this point, you're up 35-0 at the half.
Navy with 298 total yards of offense here in this first half with 38 seconds remaining. There you see the plebes doing the push-ups, 35 of them. And this is just the first half.
Oh, that's nothing for them.
True. 35 push-ups, a little burn for...
That's an off day.
Desjardins, he and Lippincott, the 2 guys selected as the 12th mids out of the brigade for this game by Paul Johnson and his coaching staff. These guys are getting a workout here in this first half. They have been alternating kickoffs. We get that guy an iron for that t-shirt.
I wonder what Temple's going to do here. Don't forget with the new rule, off the kick, clock will continue to run with the change of possession.
Matt Harmon waiting for the OK. Harper and Shelton, the ever dangerous one, back deep for the out. High, short kick again. Shelton from the 16. Starts right, comes back left. Looking for some real estate, and he's brought down on the play. Byron McCoy and Clint Desjardins, the 12th mid in the neighborhood on the play.
You can always tell by the reaction of the crowd whether the 12th mid gets involved.
Byron McCoy, one of those young men who obviously listed as a slot back and does play it at times, but his value to this program has been a stalwart on special teams. And they showed you why right there. Clock on the move. DeMichael back to throw. Looking across the middle. Jeremy Miles back to the 30. 25-20. Down at the 18-yard line. And he makes the interception for the midshipmen. Guy that is slowly becoming a playmaker for this midshipman football team in the secondary. And Paul Johnson calls timeout because he knows the clock is going to start as soon as.
DeMichael, so far in this football game, has made very good decisions. This, not one right here. One gets away from him, trying to hit the deep dig, the 20-yard in cut. Up until this point, I mean, he's played well. He's been under pressure. He's had to make plays with his feet. I thought he stepped into all his passes.
That one just sailed on him a little bit, yeah. So he was trying to hit Francis on the slant route. And Jeremy Miles, who we talked about earlier in the ball game, guy's becoming a playmaker. Last week, a fumble recovery and an interception for the midshipmen. So with 11 seconds, Navy calls the timeout. They have 1 remaining.
Woo! Navy #1!
do it from the 18-yard line. See what Paul Johnson comes up with here on this first down play.
Still have one timeout remaining.
So they can utilize the middle of the field if they choose to do so here. Matt Hall into the ball game at fullback for Navy. Pipanoa back to throw. Throwing backside for Tomlinson. Picked up. Intercepted in the secondary by Chris Page. Page brought down at the 10-yard line. And the clock has run out here in this first half in Annapolis. But despite that error, Navy out cruising to a 35-0 lead here in this first half. Good play by Page, you saw running off there to stay with it. Not let down on the play there as Temple's defense gets a stop in that situation. Navy with 298 yards of total offense in the half. 17 first downs to just 2 for the Temple Owls. And that pad has Navy up by a score here of 35-0 as the teams go to the locker room here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. Let's go down to Sheehan.
I'm with Coach Johnson. You're definitely dominating the scoreboard. Are you happy with the overall performance?
Well, yeah, I think we've played pretty well. Defensively, we've kept them out of the end zone, and offensively, we've moved the ball fairly well. So we just can't let down.
How about Kaipo? He's had tremendous success the past couple games. What have you seen the biggest difference in him?
Well, he's just comfortable. I think he's got some confidence, and everybody around him is playing better, so it gives him a chance to play better.
Best of luck in the second half. Thanks, Coach.
Sheehan, thank you. Our halftime score here in Annapolis, Navy 35, Temple nothing. We'll be back with the second half in a little bit, but first, let's send it back to New York for the CSTV Football Nation halftime show, presented by Nissan.
All right, thanks a lot, Pete and Scott, and welcome inside the CSTV Fieldhouse in New York. A lot of push-ups going on there in Annapolis. Adam Zucker here with Trev Alberts as we get you caught up with what's going on around the country. And we will start in the SEC. The Florida Gators, they got lucky last week against South Carolina when the all-ball coach came to town. Jarvis Moss blocking 2 field goals, 1 in the final seconds to secure a 17-16 win. However, the Gators got jumped by USC in the BCS standings, and Moss suspended this week for a violation of team policy. Shouldn't really matter, though. Against Division I AA Western Carolina, the Gators en route to a rout. And Urban Meyer with some love for Chris Leak in his final home game in the Swamp. Gators getting off to a quick start. Deshaun Wynn, one of his 2 touchdown runs, 26 yards, leaping over a defender. 41-0, Florida leading this one in the third quarter. Eric Ainge back for the Vols against Vandy, but the Vandy team going on top. Commodores, Chris Nixon to George Smith to make it 7-6, but Tennessee right back. LaMarcus Coker gets the call. Eric Ainge has thrown a touchdown pass, and we're flipping 19-7. The Vols on top of Vandy. Too many V's in there for me. But let's go back to Florida here. 4th in the BCS. How do things shake up for them down the stretch?
I think it all comes down to strength of schedule, Adam. And you look at it right now, USC is actually the 3rd-ranked team in the BCS rankings, and I think they actually control their own destiny because it's a strength of schedule. They still play Cal. They still play Notre Dame, who's ranked very high in the BCS. So if USC takes care of business, I think they're going to be in the championship game facing the winner of the Ohio State-Michigan game. You look at Florida, on the other hand, Western Carolina, nice victory today. That's certainly not going to help them in the polls. Then you have Florida State next week. That doesn't help because of the bad year that the Seminoles had. Obviously, in the SEC championship game, you play a team like Arkansas. That could help. But I think if both of these 2 teams win out, I still think it'll be the Trojans playing in the national championship.
That's the way it would appear. And Arkansas, of course, can clinch a berth in the SEC championship game with a win today against Mississippi State. Lots to talk about when Trev joins Greg and Brian Curtis on SEC Football Nation. That's coming your way tonight at 7:30 Eastern. Going to talk about the Iron Bowl as well. Auburn at Alabama. Auburn's won 4 straight against the Tide. Ole Miss and LSU. Another big one to talk about tonight in the SEC. And still to come, we'll get into that looming battle in Columbus between Michigan and Ohio State. Many factors to focus on, including the Wolverines' much improved defense under first-year defensive coordinator Ron English. Back on the CSTV Football Nation halftime show presented by Nissan.
Rated E to M.
We know what you love.
The one-hand jam. Here's the lob and the finish.
The ball in the air.
Deep three. Got it.
A thunderous crowd.
Rejected.
Shut down defense. An electric fast break. CSTV has everything you want from the game you love.
Watch the South Padre Invitational Semifinals Friday starting at 12, only on CSTV.
CSTV is going to take you closer to the game than ever before. It's Coast to Coach every Wednesday through Saturday. Log on to CSTV.com to learn more about Coast to Coach.
Late in the last century, Esurance emerged on the scene.
And now it's one of the fastest growing auto insurance companies in America. Lots of people are drawn to Esurance because they've taken a fresh look at their auto insurance. What about you?
Quote, buy, print. Save time and money on your auto insurance instantly at Esurance.
For about a quarter a day, just $7.95 a month per unit, Colonial Penn offers guaranteed acceptance life insurance to people ages 50 to 85. These days, funeral costs alone average over $6,000. Now you can get help with no medical exam, no health questions. And the rate of $7.95 a month per unit is guaranteed never to increase.
Call 1-800-601-4588 to receive free information in the mail. Call now.
Yeah, I have a little attitude, but I've earned it. I've put in the hours. I practice every day. I've learned from the best, and I have no doubt that I can play at the highest level. Right now, I'm guessing I'll end up in either Chicago or New Orleans.
Most good jazz musicians do.
There are over 360,000 NCAA student athletes, and just about all of us are going pro in something other than sports.
And welcome back to the Fieldhouse. Which conference has the most teams in the top 25? It's the ACC with 6, though none are ranked higher than number 14, Wake Forest. The Demon Deacons in a three-way race for the Atlantic Division with Maryland and Boston College. The Terps and Eagles meeting today in Chestnut Hill. And it started out very poorly for the Terps. Sam Hollenbach with a fumble that the Eagles immediately ran in for a score. Boston College on top of this one right now, 28-6. Matt Ryan has thrown 2 touchdown passes. Georgia Tech already has the Coastal Division locked up and facing Duke today with 3.5 to go in the first quarter. Tech on top 7-0. Also, a couple more scores here for you. The rough year for Miami just continues. Virginia on top 14-0. Jamil Sewell with 2 touchdown runs. And North Carolina over NC State 10-6. The Tar Heels have played a very tough schedule under Coach John Bunting, who is on his way out. Butch Davis, the guy coming in. All those factors, and when you see all these teams ranked, what kind of conference is this going to be next year, Trevor?
You know, Adam, we talked about the ACC and how it had a down year, but I think if you look deeper in the ACC and you start to see, well, maybe they didn't have such a down year because of some of the teams who historically were at the bottom of the conference, they've had great years. Wake Forest had 9 wins this year. Boston College with a win today. They had 9 wins. Georgia Tech has 8 wins so far. And so then you add Butch Davis, the new head coach at North Carolina. Understand one thing. There's a lot of youth and a lot of talent on that football team. Next year, Mike Powlus and Dwight Jones, 2 of those highly sought-after recruits in high school, they have joined up. They're coming to North Carolina. They're going to get better. And you know that Virginia Tech, a little down year, still a pretty good year this year. You know Virginia Tech, Florida State will get better, and Miami will get better because they have to. Down the road, this conference could be the toughest conference in college football. It could be that good.
All right, and as college football, of course, mourning the loss of a legendary coach, the big one is coming up in about 90 minutes. Ohio State and Michigan in what amounts to a national semifinal. For the first time ever in over 100 games played between the two, they're ranked 1 and 2, and the first time in over 30 years, they're both undefeated. The key for Michigan will be its defense, allowing just under 30 rushing yards per game to go with 41 sacks. And as Greg Amsinger tells us, the catalyst is defensive end Lamar Woodley.
For the Michigan defense this season, the message was simple: finish the game.
Last year, we didn't win games that we felt like we, could have won and that we should have won.
We're going to finish
this year. We're going to be that 7-5 team from last year.
Led by first-year defensive coordinator Ron English, the third-best defense in the country has shut down opponents and changed the attitude of the team.
He just instilled the mindset of how we were going to play. You know, he wanted us to play fast and physical.
He's just an aggressive guy. He don't let up on nobody. He doesn't matter if you're the first-team guy or the third-team guy. He's going to coach you hard, and he's going to get everybody better.
And this team has got guys who are committed this year. You know, guys who were too heavy, they lost weight. Guys who were too light, gained weight. You know, guys changed their attitude around.
Fueled by All-American candidate defensive end Lamar Woodley, Michigan's front seven is dominant, allowing under 30 rushing yards per game.
I don't know what they're doing in their little meeting room, but, I mean, it's working. If they're not running to the outside, I don't expect to make the tackle, because the front seven is going to get it done like they've been doing week in and week out.
Physical, fast, intense, tough. That's one thing about this defense. We're going to hit you hard. Last year, guys weren't doing the job that had to be done. This year, guys are, and the job's getting done. That's the biggest difference.
And Trev, we've seen Michigan play with motivation all year. Is there maybe too much motivation now with the passing of Bo Schembechler?
I think, Adam, that's the thing they have to worry about. You have to understand, this team rebounded from last year. Was so motivated to show the country that last year was an aberration. They've played so well this season. I think going into this game, just relax, enjoy the moment. Don't try too hard.
All right, Bo and Woody watching from upstairs. And we'll continue on the CSTV Football Nation halftime show presented by Nissan right after this break.
All power with no shift shock. The next Nissan Maxima with CVT, part of the next generation of Nissan thinking.
All college sports, all the time. CSTV, the 24-hour college sports network from CBS Sports, is the class of the field in America's college sports.
Riaga on the way. Inside they score. Call touchdown. Sergeant, sing. Goal, Boston College.
I love college sports.
Thank you, CSTV. Thank you. Show some school spirit. Call your cable or satellite provider and ask for CSTV.
Skillets, axes, spittoons, a garage sale? Try the crown jewels of Football Nation.
Football is a way of life. Live it with CSTV.
Go across the ocean.
You followed me all the way from Africa?
Around town. And above and beyond.
You don't give a monkey a latte?
Anything you've ever imagined.
Oh boy. Do yourself a favor. You're going to want to put the cucumbers back on. Give me a hug, you little furball.
Curious George, now playing on pay-per-view.
You still don't have Netflix?
Netflix is the best because it shows up in my mail, and then there's no late fees.
Go online and make a list of the movies you want from over 65,000 titles and get your first DVDs in the mail in about 1 business day from over 40 shipping centers all around the country.
First thing we say when we walk in the door is, did you check the mail? Is there a movie in there?
Keep them as long as you want. No late fees. Return one in a prepaid envelope and Netflix automatically sends you another from your list.
For me, Netflix has been awesome.
Netflix, the DVDs you want from only $5.99 a month.
Patriot League is comprised of a group of highly selective colleges and universities linked by common values. Ranked #1 in student-athlete graduation rates, we believe athletics play an important role in the overall educational experience. We are committed to the highest level of competition, NCAA Division I, and Patriot League student-athletes can play. We are determined to admit and graduate scholar athletes who succeed in the classroom and on the field. Today's scholar athletes, tomorrow's leaders, the Patriot League.
And a couple more scores to pass along. From the Snow Belt, we got Wisconsin over Buffalo 28-3 late in the third quarter, and Oklahoma over Baylor on the road. Sooners doing some good things lately, 27-3 they lead. And that'll do it here on the CSTV Football Nation halftime show presented by Nissan. Trev Alberts and I back after the second half between Navy and Temple. The Mids on top 35-0. Third quarter coming up after the break.
Are you a homeowner with a first mortgage, second mortgage, auto loans, student loans, or credit card debt? Or would you like to consolidate your debts into one low monthly payment? Just call or log on to ditech.com and refinance to a low fixed rate with a lender you can trust. With Ditech, you can feel confident that you're being taken care of every step of the way. Call us now at 1-800-71-FIXED or log on to ditech.com, a GMAC company.
It all begins here with a shot that wins the point.
What a rally!
That beats the team.
Another beauty.
That leads to a championship.
Their 9th tournament championship.
It all begins here on CSTV.
Oh, phenomenal action.
NCAA volleyball on CSTV. A conference championship doubleheader beginning tomorrow at 4, only on CSTV.
The U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland is the undergraduate college of the Navy and Marine Corps, developing midshipmen morally, mentally, and physically. We inspire our graduates with the highest ideals of duty, honor, and loyalty as they dedicate themselves to a rewarding career in the naval service as officers in the Navy or Marine Corps. The 4-year journey that is a Naval Academy education prepares our graduates to assume the highest responsibilities of command, citizenship, and government. Start your journey at the United States Naval Academy.
CSTVFanstore.com is the ultimate store for the college sports fan. With over 30,000 items from virtually every school, FanStore is the perfect place for holiday shopping. Go to fanstore.com today and get free shipping on all orders over $50. Just enter the code MyCSTV to receive this limited time offer. CSTVFanstore.com, the ultimate store for college sports fans.
CSTV Football Nation, Temple versus Navy is being brought to you by Nissan, proud presenter of the 2006 Heisman. Visit theheismanvote.com to cast your vote. Welcome back to Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium, along with Scott Zolak, Pete Medhurst with you, the Navy midshipmen, out to a 35-0 lead here at the half. And Scott, when you talk about this first half and all the highlights that accompany this first half, everything decidedly Navy in the first 30 minutes.
It's all Navy right now, and it seems like anything they call is working. I think Kaipo has done a nice job running the offense, running the triple option. They've hit a pass play here or there, but defensively, they're laying your ears back. And if you're Temple, you get down by this point, I mean, there's nothing you can do but just work on it. You got to get first downs. You got to find a rhythm.
Let's take a look at some of these plays from the first half as Navy with 5 touchdowns in the first 30 minutes.
Well, here's Kaipo coming out on the first play of the game, hitting fullback Adam Ballard. They really didn't have to throw it after that because all they did was run the triple option. Here he is on one of his touchdown runs going outside. Back to pass, finds Temple in man coverage, pops it out the backside for a big gainer, sets up an easy run for Reggie Campbell, who sets it up for the big option play right there where he loses his balance, flips it outside to Sean White, in for an easy 7 points. Here's another run to McCoy. That's the last touchdown of the half for Navy. But if you look at the shift performance and what Temple has to do in the second half, it all starts with the quarterback, DeMichael. He's got to get things going. He's thrown for 70 yards. They've only rushed for 15. So here's the thing. Find a rhythm, start throwing the football short in the flat, get him some first downs. They've got to move the sticks. Maybe not score points, but this is where they need to build on something for next year.
That's the Nissan Shift Performance brought to you by Nissan. Navy leading it here in the first 30 minutes by a count of 35-0. We'll see if Temple can get back in it here in the second half. Come on back with us on CSTV Football Nation.
Intelligent key technology that knows you. Seats that hug you. A ride that spoils you. The next Nissan Maxima, part of the next generation of Nissan thinking.
The Mountain West's biggest game of the year is next Saturday on CSTV. At 3:30, BYU battles Utah in the Holy War. These two bitter enemies meet up for the 82nd time in the latest chapter of this storied rivalry.
Touchdown!
Then at 7:30, Marshall brings CUSA's top rushing attack into Hattiesburg to take on Southern Miss. Don't miss all the hard-hitting action and fierce showdowns next Saturday beginning at 3:30. Football is a way of life. Live it with CSTV.
The echo in the gym. The squeak of the shoes. The buzzer. The brick. The whistle. The crowd. Swish. I left the game, but it'll never leave me.
There are over 360,000 NCAA student athletes, and just about all of us are going pro in something other than sports.
The Patriot League is comprised of a group of highly selective colleges and universities linked by common values. Ranked #1 in student-athlete graduation rates, we believe athletics play an important role in the overall educational experience. We are committed to the highest level of competition, NCAA Division I, and Patriot League student-athletes can play. We are determined to admit and graduate scholar athletes who succeed in the classroom and on the field. Today's scholar athletes, tomorrow's leaders, the Patriot League.
It's something we all agree on. It's something we all do. And this is how it's done. The USO depends entirely on the generosity of the American people. Help us support our troops until everyone comes home.
Back in Annapolis, second half action ready to commence. Danny Murphy to kick off for the Temple Owls. Navy with a 35-0 lead, and they will get the football first. Reggie Campbell stands at his goal line to return for the midshipmen. There you see Campbell awaiting the kick of Murphy. And we are set to go. Toe meets ball, and we are underway toward the corner. And the ball bounces toward the end zone. Campbell will deaden it right there with the knee. Navy up 35-0. So down to Sheehan Stanwyck Bertram moments ago, caught up with Temple coach Al Golden.
I'm here with Coach Golden right now. Coach, obviously not the way you want to start out the first half. What lasting message do you talk about in the halftime speech?
Well, we open up with these guys next year, and I just want to see if we have some pride right now, and if we're tough enough to hang in there with 30 minutes right now and have some discipline. We didn't get anything going on offense. That made it hard for us to adjust to the defense. So we got to get something going here. These guys aren't going away. We open up with them September 1 next year, and we'll see what we got here.
Best of luck, Coach. Thanks.
Thank you, Sheehan. Kaipanoa Kehaku and Hana at quarterback, and on first down, cuts it up himself, 25, up to the 27, 28-yard line. Going to be a gain of 8, maybe 9, brings up second down and short. And Scott, a ground attack which was effective no matter where they went in the first half.
No, that's right. They really find a lot of success up the middle with the fullback. The fullback is the #1 guy. He's the guy that starts everything with this offense. And that's the first read for Kaipo. He's either going to give it to him, pull it out, take it on the triple option to the outside, and flip it to one of the slot backs.
Hand off to Matt Hall. Hall, the third different fullback to carry the football, and a guy who was a first stringer a year ago before getting injured, gets the first down. Just short of the 32-yard line for Navy.
Back to Al Golden, though, down below with Sheehan. He's already talking about next year, and it's something that we talked with him about this week. And, you know, what do you take from this game? He's like, well, the second this game's over, we're already coaching for next year. We're recruiting, we're getting kids, we're talking about the conference. And as he said right there, he said, these guys aren't going away. We got to face them next year. Let's see what you guys have left for 30 minutes. Let's play some football.
Quick pitch coming left side. Reggie Campbell upended David Reese coming up from his corner spot, doing a nice job that time on the run.
That's what you got to do. You got to take some chances. Watch David Reese right here. Little pitch to the left. He's going to come in right there, cut Reggie Campbell down right at the ankles. That's a good form tackle.
It'll be a loss of 2. 2nd down and 12. You see David Reese in the Temple secondary with an interception on the year. He's been in on a couple of stops today. Campbell goes in motion. The quick pitch goes opposite side this time. Right side rather. He jumps over a man, but Walter Mebane amongst 3 guys in cherry and white waiting for him there. It'll bring up 3rd down and just short of 10.
That's a real nice job. You talk about pursuit with the defense. A play that's strung to the outside. You got good secondary support. Forced the play inside. Campbell cut it up inside, and we had guys pursuing from the right side. Walter Mebane, one of them.
Criminal justice major, senior for the Owls. Teamed up with senior Ryan Gore at the linebacker spot. Gore is not able to play professional football, wants to be a counselor to juvenile youngsters. On 3rd down, Haku and Hata is going to be sacked on the play, and that man, number 29, George Coleman, who's been in on several stops today for Temple, Scott, with a nice play in the backfield there.
Yeah, you had 3 midshipman linemen turned around looking to see what the heck happened. 3 Temple defenders coming in, converging on Kaipo. You take a look right up the middle. It's just a little play action fake. Nobody blocks anybody. It looks like they were trying to set up the screen, and they didn't give enough of a 2 count. 2 count meaning let's count 1,001, 1,002 before we release those big defenders up on the quarterback.
Leaf Walrath on to punt, the senior. What a great hometown. Hurricane, West Virginia. For Leaf Walrath, the senior getting a chance to punt here.
Tough town.
Absolutely, with a name like that.
He could be a linebacker.
Offside. Defense.
Temple jumps
number
offside.
21 with contact.
5-yard penalty. You'll only make it 4th and 15.
Remains 4th down.
Tell you what, though, you got to, from Al Golden's perspective, little victories within the course of a game. The fact that they did not allow Navy to score at the end of the half, they get the interception by Page, and obviously then come out here with a terrific first possession on defense in the second
hard.
half.
That's something he talked about. They need to show pride. Pride's the word that he used. We blocked the punt.
Looked like Harper, 34, may have gotten in on that one as Walrath kick is partially blocked down at the Temple 47-yard line by Rob Caldwell. There you see the celebration from Temple. As we mentioned, little victories go a long way. 35-0 Navy, 3rd quarter action on CSTV.
The last sound you hear before you step on the field. Click, clack. I think the air is coming.
Quick, quack.
Click, clack. Click, clack. I think the air is coming.
Need a hand?
No, I need a new car.
Whoa, I see what you mean.
Aren't you the 1-800-BAR-NONE sock puppet?
Yours truly.
Could they help me?
Sure. If you need car financing, even if you have bad credit, 1-800-BAR-NONE could get you approved in minutes. Going up.
1-800-BAR-NONE? You can? I am? Really?
Need a car, not a tow? Then call 1-800-BAR-NONE.
Our hero. Mommy, can we keep him?
Everyone deserves a second chance. Bar none. Call now.
This Thanksgiving, we here at CSTV would like to give thanks to the things that make college sports truly special. The turkeys.
For the tie. Can you say wide right 3?
Are you kidding me? Gather around CSTV on Thanksgiving Day for the #1 college sports show Special Turkey Countdown as we reveal who you, the fans, voted as the #1 turkey play of all time.
Oh, the band is out on the field! Oh, my goodness!
Thursday at 5 only on CSTV.
There's the Al Golden, patting guys on the helmet, the shoulder pads, trying to keep his troops going over there. And the last 2 possessions, again, as we mentioned, small victories within the game here, things that they can build on toward next year.
Oh, he's making a difference. You can see him coaching up the kids on the sideline. You're down 35 to zip. You know, you get a little bit of a block punt right there. You get the ball in great field position right here. See if they go up top and try and make a play.
Jason Harper got a piece of the Leaf Walrath kick. Tim Brown runs out of a tackle across the 45. Caldwell on the stop at the Navy 43. It'll be a gain of 4, 2nd and 6.
Tim Brown did a nice job keeping his legs moving and keeping his feet moving. He stopped at the point of attack for a 2-yard loss. Initially bounces it outside the left tackle, picks up a good 3 yards.
Good job there on defense, opening up the hole. Sean Satchel, 7'4", the redshirt sophomore, 6'3", 315-pounder. Some good size to build on that offensive line, and a super center in Alex Derenthal, who Buddy Green and Paul Johnson both really talked highly of on that Temple front. DeMichael on the second down play. Play action, has time. Now it starts to break down. Ty Adams brings him down. Thought DeMichael might get it away, but he thought better of it, better to take a sack, because early in the year, you remember George DeLeon told us this week that those are occasions where, while he was going down, he was trying to make throws to try and make plays early in the year.
Well, this is a tough thing, and a tough thing to ask DeMichael to do is to sit in the pocket. It's such a slow developing play. They brought Shelton in motion, crossed the formation. He's on a 7-step deep play action fake. He's got a set turn, try and find Shelton, who's going from his left to his right. You got a right-handed quarterback asking him to reverse pivot, then get his shoulders redirected around to the line of scrimmage, and to throw a strike about 20 yards downfield to the right. Tough to do.
Third down 15. DeMichael sprinting out to the right, throws, and it's incomplete. Rashawn King hitting Mike Holly as the ball goes flying out of bounds. And it'll bring up a fourth down. So Brownell will come on to punt. Jason Tomlinson will go back deep for Navy. Brownell's punted 4 times, 38-yard average, and included in those boots was a 50-yarder. As we mentioned earlier, he committed to Navy, came for a semester, and then transferred out. Gets it away. And Tomlinson makes the fair catch at the 15-yard line with Travis Shelton right in his face. There you see Brownell, who is down on the play. And the Temple staff will come out and tend to him. 35-0 Navy on CSTV.
Be great to hear exactly what you want on radio? Then say yes to over 130 channels of Sirius satellite radio. Say yes to 100% commercial-free music from rock to pop, hip-hop to country. Yes to every NFL game, the NBA, college sports, and NASCAR coming this January. Yes to comedy, news, talk, and more. To a subscription that's less than 50 cents a day. Say yes and join over 10 million listeners. Say no to limited choices and interruptions. And now get a radio plus a 3-month subscription for less than $99. Sirius, the best radio on radio.
The beat, the rhythm, the pulse of Football Nation. There's one place to find it all.
Making a couple of tackles, making more now.
Get the total experience of HBCU football all season long on CSTV.
Are you kidding me?
Thursday at 2, Tuskegee takes on Alabama State in the Turkey Day Classic. Watch HBCU football presented by the U.S. Navy. Football is a way of life. Live it with CSTV.
CSTV is the home of the Navy midshipman.
Boy, he is smooth from the outside.
A winning tradition.
Bullseye!
Passionate fans. Unforgettable moments.
The kick is up and it is goal!
The midshipmen play on CSTV.
Goal again for Navy!
Your ultimate destination for everything Navy.
35-0 Navy on top here with 9 minutes and 40 seconds to go in quarter number 3. Never miss another moment of action from Temple, Navy, or your favorite team with CSTV XXL. You can see live Owls and Midshipmen's games, press conferences, highlights, as well as breaking news, scores, stats, and much more on over 100 channels with just a few clicks. Go to CSTVXXL.com, the most college sports ever. There you see the punter, Jake Brownell, going off. He's also doubling as the field goal kicker, so the biology major out of Thoroughfare, New Jersey, probably puts Danny Murphy into the catbird seat. Murphy handles the kickoff duties for the Owls. Brownell basically looked like he bumped into his own man on the punt.
He came down awkwardly on his left ankle.
So Navy will have it on the first down. The give up the middle. Ballard back into the ball game. He'll get across the 20 up to the 21. Gain of 5. Second down and 5 for the Mids.
Take a look at how Navy really spreads the football around. Of course, Kaipo with 113 on the ground. Slot backs next at $118. And fullback still chipping away. We still haven't seen that one big run that we usually see from, say Ballard or Matt Hall, where they spring off a 40, 43-yarder.
Kehaku and Hata on the carry, turns it upfield. Sanford again, who has been around the football all day for Temple. Getting a piece of the Navy quarterback, who advances to the 24, 3rd down and 2. And there you see Brian Sanford, 52, and he looks like he's been involved in some work today.
Tough day for all the linebackers from Temple, moving around, trying to stay with your keys. Who's responsible for the quarterback? Who's got the fullback?
Quick pitch going right side. Trey Hines going to be stopped short of the first down. Good force on the play by Walter Meebane. Also getting some good secondary support from Richard Shepard, the sophomore out of Philadelphia, and Simon Gratz.
It's another good stop for this Temple defense. Looks like Navy's going to go for it. 4th and 1.
Ball at the 25. They need the 26. Temple is in punt formation. They've got a guy deep. At least the linebackers and front guys shift. And Navy goes into their we're going to draw you offside formation. And a flag comes down from the back judge. I wonder if Temple had too many people on the field.
I think that's the case where Temple realized Navy was going for it, ran the defense back on. The returner didn't know it.
Illegal substitution.
It's an illegal
Defense.
Substitution.
12 players on the field.
Automatically gives Navy a first down.
Penalty. The result of the penalty will be a first down.
Side judge over explaining things to Al Golden. So it'll be a free 5 yards for Navy and a first down at the 30-yard line. I still don't think Al buys the math. One of those rare calls during the course of a game. So first down and 10 for Navy at the 30-yard line. And it's Ballard up the middle. Gains a couple.
I think that rule is
32.
I think the rule is the guy actually has to come into the huddle as to where he runs it off, then he gets back on and he comes back off. I'm not sure if the returner actually came into the huddle. I think they just ran him onto the field and he tried to run him off there right before the snap.
Terrence Knighton in on the stop there on first down for the Owls. And of course, similar rules where you can't have 12 guys in the huddle, even though a guy may run off the field in plenty of time. You can't have 12 in the huddle. 2nd down and 8. Reverse pivot on the option. Kehaku and Hata with some room up to the 37. It'll bring up 3rd down and 3 yards to go for the midshipmen. Shepard again on the stop for the Owls.
Navy's still going with what works for them, the triple option. Trying to get guys outside. George Coleman did a good job right there, stuck between a rock and a hard place. He's the guy with the quarterback reads. Do I go with the pitch? Do I cut it up inside? He did a nice job staying between the two. Forced Kaipo inside and then went and got him.
May have seen the last of Adam Ballard today. Just saw him limp off with an ankle. On 3rd down, Kehaku and Hata throwing the out pattern. Diving attempt by O.J. Washington. Ball hits the ground. It'll bring up a 4th down. George Coleman on the coverage for the Owls. So that'll bring on the Navy punting unit. Greg Vitello on for the 3rd time today. We're checking for him individually the 2nd time. Navy's 3rd punt overall. He did not punt in either of Navy's wins over Duke or Eastern Michigan. The last one they put in senior Leaf Walworth. His punt was partially blocked. Vitello, the running rugby kick, low line driver. Tim Brown at the 24. Brown with some room up to the 30, 35. David Mahoney down on special teams. The do-it-all man for Navy makes the stop. Speaking of a guy that's done it all here at Navy, let's go downstairs to Sheehan Stanwyck Birch with Athletic Director Chet Gladchuk.
Chet, you've been here 5 years, and you actually were the one to hire Paul Johnson. What did you see in him? It's been a brilliant move, obviously.
Well, Paul was a member of our staff here back in the early 90s when we had some great success. And looking for a coach, we're looking for someone that obviously had been involved with this type of an offense, which works beautifully for the service academies. And Paul at Georgia Southern had great success there, won National Coach of the Year, national championships, etc. I knew that he had a love for Annapolis and what this institution represents, so I approached him, and here he is. He's done a great job for us, and of course you can see this is one of the better teams we've had.
Definitely. And now you're headed to the 4th straight bowl game with the Meineke Car Care Bowl. Talk about the relationship that you guys have established.
Well, what we do in the bowl situation there is we obviously got things off the ground in Houston 3 years ago, and the biggest thing there is it's an institutional effort. Number one, you have to have the team obviously deliver on the field, but ticket sale has been extraordinary. The alumni, the turnout, the ticket sale there has been 28,000 every year. The midshipmen show up in force, so our relationship with the bowl community has been exceptional, and that's why we're able to pull this Car Care Bowl deal off actually back in January of last year.
Well, thanks so much for your time. You've got a tremendous program.
Thank you very much.
Shin, thank you. DeMichael trying to scramble around on 2nd down. He's going to lose a couple of yardage. As for the success, like Chuck mentioned it, they went down to Houston to play Texas Tech. After that, it was New Mexico in the Emerald. Last year, Colorado State in the Poinsettia, and this year, a significant step up in competition with somebody from the ACC in the Meineke Car Care Bowl.
Oh, and the nice thing is you're staying in a big-time bowl, Meineke Car Care Bowl. It's in Charlotte, North Carolina. You're staying on the East Coast. You're going to play a very good ACC team, so it's going to be a great draw. And as Chet said, they travel well, and it's going to be a great network game. And
as an independent, they get to keep the $1.5 million or plus whatever they may get. DeMichael on 3rd down. Nice strong throw to Tim Brown on the out pattern. He tries to spin away from Keenan Little. Not going to do it. Clint Sobey comes over to put the finishing touches on. It'll bring up a 4th down and about 6. And Brownell will tough it out and come back onto the field. The punter injured, taken off the field, but here he comes, Scott.
Some sarcasm in your voice.
No, he clearly limping. I think it's tough for the punter. Love how he rolls the knee pads up by his knees. Exposes the bottom portion of the knee so he can get great extension.
Why do they need knee pads?
Because they're required.
They're required at this level, that's right. Get to the next level, you see guys running around.
With nothing.
It drives you crazy. Guys like Ray Lewis playing without pads in your pants are taking on linemen every day.
Brownell gets the boot away. Tomlinson from the 25. Going to try and run to the right side. Ooh, Keenan Little with a nice block. Mahoney with a good block. Tomlinson up to the 40-yard line. They'll mark him out just short of the 40 at the 39. 3 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the 3rd. All Navy in Annapolis on CSTV.
All power with no shift shock. The next Nissan Maxima with CVT, part of the next generation of Nissan thinking.
Are you struggling every month to pay your mortgage, your credit cards, car loans, and other bills? Do you need extra cash right now? Well, with one quick phone call to Ditech.com, we can show you how to lower your total monthly payments, consolidate debts, and refinance to a low fixed rate. We'll also guarantee you the lowest rate and fee, even if you have a credit problem. Make that call to Ditech right now. Call 1-800-71-FIXED or log on to Ditech.com.
Coming up next, it's the latest chapter in one of football's most storied rivalries. Lehigh and Lafayette have been battling it out on the gridiron since 1884. Now this game can make or break the season for both teams.
Touchdown, Lehigh!
It's Lehigh and Lafayette coming your way next. Football is a way of life. Live it with CSTV.
Skillets, axes, spittoons, a garage sale? Try the crown jewels of Football Nation.
Football is a way of life. Live it with CSTV.
See the flags moving here in Annapolis on a picture-perfect Saturday afternoon for college football in late November. Navy leading it by a score of 35-0 with 3:15 to go here in quarter number 3. Midshipmen will have the football. Kaipanoa still in the game at quarterback in the total yardage. Well in favor of Navy here. Short motion by Campbell. Leads in Hata through the hole. Keahaku and Hata takes a pop from Shepard and joined on the play at the bottom of the pile by Evan Cooper Jr. And as we mentioned earlier, thought we'd seen the last of Adam Ballard, and that's a pretty good indication that Mr. Ballard will be out of action until the Army game coming up in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's smart. You got 14 days until you rest him, until you got the big one against Army. It's critical. He's the guy that's key to your success.
Gain of 8 on the play, though he could be singing karaoke tonight with his company mates. Here's Kehaku and Hada trying to get up to the first down marker. Looks like he'll get it. And again, Shepard and Mebane over on the stop. Let's go and take a look at our Xbox Live Big Play replay, and we take you back to the first half.
Oh, this is a great athletic play by Kreipo right there, flipping outside to Shun White on the option. Temple tried to stop it. Review it, thought it was a lateral at that time, but that's the big play right now.
Navy already at the line of scrimmage. Temple was off to the left and now comes sprinting back to set up to get it done in time. Kehaku and Hada running left side, turns it up. Wow. Big
Tough
collision
yards.
with
Tough
Mebane.
yards.
As he gets knocked down on the play after a gain of 8. You know, again, obviously been a tough few years for some of these seniors on this Temple program. You get guys like Gore, Mebane right there, who has been very, very tough, and guys who continue to hustle and show a lot of pride, not only in themselves, but obviously for their university still after what has basically been 4 years of losing football.
Well, in essence, they're captains by default. You talk about the 6 seniors, the 1 junior, guys that are contributing today. They have to be the leaders because they're the elders.
Katani fumbles. Ball comes out.
Temple football.
And it will be the Owls football, and why not George Coleman, who's been around everything today for Temple on that defensive side, and good to see him and his Owls showing some enthusiasm.
And I tell you, look at Paul Johnson right now, getting in the face of his players. He did it on the previous series. He came over, yelled at the offensive lineman, and now he's talking to the skill people saying, guys, you know what? 35-0 right now. We haven't played up to our expectations here in the third quarter. This has been a flat quarter for Navy.
Eric Katani getting a earful of fullbacks coach Chris Colton, who made him watch the fumble on the big screen TV right there. And now Temple, after the recovery, will take over at the 35-yard line. And that has been one of the things that has been a bugaboo for Katani and Hall both, backing up Ballard, the propensity to put it on the ground. Vaughn Charlton, the freshman out of Landenberg, Pennsylvania, and Avon Grove High School into the ball game here. Out of the gun. Has time, steps up, stands strong in the pocket. Nice catch by Holly, diving at the 49-yard line. Circus catch by number 3.
Talking to Al Golden before the game, says he really likes his 2 young quarterbacks. This kid stands 6'4", 210 pounds. He's got a nice presence in the pocket, delivers a strike, and that's a nice catch by Holly. Take another look at the one-handed grab, pulls it in, rolls it over.
Charlton back to throw, pressure on, sets up the screen to Brown. Brown in the open field, 45, wow, tackled down at the 42-yard line by a hard-charging Ty Adams. Good job by Charlton, who had Rob Caldwell crashing into him at the point of the throw.
Yeah, I like this move right here by Temple. They're going with an up-tempo offense, trying to do a controlled calling of the plays at the line of scrimmage. Vaughn Charlton did a nice job pulling in the pressure there to set up the screen pass, took a shot at the end.
Charlton tries to step away. Oh, nice shovel ahead to Shelton to try and make something happen, but Chan wraps him up at the 40-yard line. It's a gain of 1.5 and enough for a Temple first down. Nice presence there by Charlton. You could see, too, his big frame right there enabling him to stay despite being dragged down.
Yeah, he's 6'4". He's a tall, lanky kid. He keeps his eyes downfield. Good job protecting the football, and the awareness to see Shelton come out of your peripheral vision, flips him the ball underhand. That's a nice pickup. Picks up the first down.
Temple's 4th first down of the day. Charlton looking to throw. Has Brown on the slant against Sovey down inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. It'll be another Temple first down.
And they're just doing the things that need to get drives going. Hitting the short stuff, the quick slants. They incorporated 1 screen pass 3 plays ago. Of course, he had the big play to Holly over the middle. But this is what you need to do to get a young quarterback going. Keep it in front of him. Keep the stuff under 10 yards. And then you'll take your shots downfield. There's another short one.
Nice job by Charlton throwing underneath. Diane Crudup makes the catch. And that's the final play of the third quarter. Temple's on the move. Navy with a 35-0 lead as we go to quarter number 4 on CSTV.
Anyone here? What's up, Jeff? Let me get in on this one.
I'm not really good with goodbyes, so
The U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland is the undergraduate college of the Navy and Marine Corps, developing midshipmen morally, mentally, and physically. We inspire our graduates with the highest ideals of duty, honor, and loyalty as they dedicate themselves to a rewarding career in the naval service as officers in the Navy or Marine Corps. The four-year journey that is a Naval Academy education prepares our graduates to assume the highest responsibilities of command, citizenship, and government. Start your journey at the United States Naval Academy.
I was an offensive lineman for 4 years. I no longer wear pads, but I still carry a lot of weight on my shoulders.
There are over 360,000 NCAA student athletes, and just about all of us will be going pro in something other than sports.
Scoreless third quarter, Navy after taking a 35-0 halftime lead as we go to quarter number 4. This is the first of 4 today on CSTV. Complete coverage from football's oldest rivalry as Lehigh and Lafayette meet for the 142nd time. Then we head down to Hattiesburg for a Conference USA showdown featuring Watson Brown at UAB and Jeff Brower's Southern Miss Golden Eagles, followed by Montana and Montana State at 11:30. Football, it's a way of life. Live it with CSTV. And for all the news and information on college sports, log on at CSTV.com. Vaughn Charlton, who's led this Temple drive, 2nd and 2. Brown going right side, steps through the hole, nicely done rather. Spins out of it, run out of bounds, but not before he gets another Temple first down. This one down near the 11-yard line.
That's a good job, good vision right here by Brown. Picking up his feet, putting him down, slides underneath. Temple operating right now full-time out of the shotgun. And this is the way they're going to go with it. It's a controlled no huddle. I like it. It changes the tempo of the game. And it's a big win for them. You look at that third quarter. When you came back, 0-0 in the third quarter. Little things like that. That's a win for Al Golden.
Charlton rolling to the right. Flag down on the play as he throws it out of bounds to the back of the end zone. Going to be a holding call more than likely against Tim Brown.
Yeah, another flag down in the end zone too.
Now the question on that flag in the end zone becomes whether the ball was actually catchable or not if it's a defensive penalty. Bill Algie talking it over with his crew as the 33,927 in attendance today awaiting to hear from the referee and his crew.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding number 60 of the offense, personal foul. Number 4 of the defense. Those penalties offset. We'll
so it'll be an offsetting
down.
penalty set against Keenan Little and against Tim Brown. So we'll do it all over again. First down and 10 coming up from the 11-yard line. Love the tempo of the drive, though, and as George DeLeon and Al Golden try to plan offense for next year, Scott, perhaps seeing some of this type of success, maybe this is something they try to build more into their plan for next year.
Absolutely, and you see the amount of yardage and all-purpose yardage, a guy like Shelton, what he brings to the table. Once they get him going and really find out what he does well, maybe they can expand upon it. Here's a little underhanded reverse to him right here.
Right on cue, Shelton tries to cut it up. Rob Caldwell runs it down from behind. Great contain by Rashawn King, the corner, and Caldwell showing that speed at the linebacker spot to run down a really tough guy.
Here's Shelton coming down in motion. Normally it's a crack back, but underneath handoff takes it here, and this is just a slow, long, good job of Caldwell right there. That's what you talked about. Right there, that initial step into the backfield, forced Shelton outside another 8 yards, eliminated a gain.
There you see King, who kept the containment, which is as important to allowing the pursuit to run down the play as any. Loss of 2, make a loss of 1, 2nd and 11 from the 12. Charlton, play action, looking out the flat, has a man, Bundy. Bundy at the 10, 5, touchdown Temple. There's a flag down on the play. We'll see where this flag comes in. He's back in the secondary. Mike Holly puts his hands up, and the way he's reacting is it might be against Temple. Pass interference against the Owls.
I think what they're going to call is a pick play here. I'm not sure if it was Shelton, the Z receiver, coming in motion from the right side of the screen. He came down to run a little spot route, which freed up the fullback wide open in the flat. I think they're going to call a screen here. Illegal pick.
So they have him in football as well as basketball. And for Al Golden, you know, you have to feel for him and his kids here because they have really played a good second half.
There's no foul on the play. For offensive pass interference.
Thank you.
The pass was behind the line of scrimmage. Touchdown, Temple.
And it's a touchdown for the Owls, and their crowd here in attendance responds.
You're going to see the motion right here. If anything, that's what they were going to call, but it's wide open in the flat. Nobody responsible for the fullback. There was a blown coverage. One of those linebackers, one of the midshipmen, let the fullback sneak into the flat. That's a good play-action fake. That's just an easy play-action pass.
You could see the contact between Holly and DeLees, but it certainly didn't look as if it was a blocking nature. They just basically looked like they hit each other running through. Danny Murphy on for the injured Brownell. High snap. DeMichael gets it down, and the kick is pulled left. No good.
Kick is no good.
DeMichael had to climb the ladder to get that snap. So Temple is on the board. 35-6. Temple on the board. The Navy in front on CSTV.
Who cried? I did.
Not me.
It was a sad ending and everything. I
saw you with your hand in your chin.
That's called concentrating on the moment. I wasn't crying, okay? I mean, seriously, I don't know why you got...
I am so hungover.
And you've got to be at work in an hour.
How come you feel so good? You drank more than I did.
I took Chaser, remember?
Chaser?
Chaser Caplets.
Take 2 Chaser Caplets with your first drink and 2 more later. Chaser is made of specially processed calcium carbonate and charcoal. These ingredients absorb toxins and acids, then pass them out of your system, kind of like a filter. The next morning, you'll wake up feeling great.
Looks like you should have taken Chaser too.
Chaser products are available at these fine stores.
It all begins here with a shot that wins the point.
What a rally!
That beats the team.
Another beauty.
That leads to a championship.
Their 9th tournament championship.
It all begins here on CSTV.
Oh, phenomenal action.
NCAA volleyball on CSTV. A conference championship doubleheader beginning tomorrow at 4, only on CSTV.
35-6, Navy on top here as the Owls get on the board. Al Golden over applauding his troops for a job well done. Scott, they did a great job of changing the tempo of the drive, and they found some success.
Well, right now, that's what he's doing. He's working the sidelines, telling those guys, hey, guys, right now, we're winning the second half. We've held them scoreless throughout the third quarter. Let's keep it going defensively. Let's force another turnover or 2. Hey, they're up, scored 6 points. Granted, you missed the extra point. It was a great hold. Good job by DeMichael going up to get it. But that's little things like that. You've got to find victories within at this stage when you're 1-10.
8 plays, 65 yards, 2 minutes and 52 seconds. And as he mentioned, they open with Navy next year. They try the onside kick, and it goes out of bounds. They tried to hit right to the right side on the sideline, trying to use the speed of Chris Page to run it down. But it goes out of bounds, and Navy will take over at the 49-yard line, starting in excellent field position.
It's a tough chance you take right there. You want to give Navy the football at midfield, but they saw something, and you know what? At least they're taking chances.
And as Paul Johnson, obviously, Scott, here, not happy with the execution on offense in the third quarter, stays with his first-line guys.
And that's the thing. He started to substitute some people, and we've seen Paul Johnson do this in the past where you get into the second half, they have a comfortable lead, he takes his starters out, puts the backups in, and all of a sudden you see Kaipo starting to come back into the football game.
And Adam Ballard has the shoe and sock back on and is back in the football game.
That's a big sign.
The big Texan trying to carry the load here for the Mids. Keahaku and Hana Gives it to him, and Knighton and Sanford lead the way on the Temple stop. They've done a good job today against the fullback.
They really have. They've contained these fullbacks, and really, you take away Kaipo's big run where he got outside the pocket and the one pitch to Singleton. I mean, as far as big play capabilities, Navy has been held in check today.
Rossi's back in at center for the midshipmen. Antron Harper is out at guard. Ben Gabbard in for Navy. Quick pitch coming right side. Shun White. White through the hole. Steps over man at the 4. 35-foot. Shun White is off to the races. Put it in the books, coach. 12:42 to go in the fourth, and the Mids score again.
The second time I talk about keeping the big play out of the repertoire. Navy hits you with it. Starters in the skill position back in the game. Just a little quick toss outside. Over pursuit by the Temple defense. No free safety at home. Shun White takes advantage of it, pops it outside for 7 points.
Reggie Campbell, Andrew McGinn with big blocks
There's
on the
Reggie.
play.
There's Reggie screening off the corner. And once he creases that first line of defender, he's off to the races.
And the extra point is up and true. Shun White over 100 yards now on just 7 carries. Navy 42, Temple 6. 12:42 to go in the fourth quarter. Stay with us on CSTV Football Nation.
You're pretty. Waiting long?
Yeah, and I'm late.
No car, huh?
Bad credit.
I got a car. Hey, I can't get financing. Sure you can. It's easy. Just call 1-800-BAR-NONE. If you need car financing, even if you have bad credit, 1-800-BAR-NONE could get you approved in minutes. 1-800-BAR-NONE? You can? I am? Really? Scintillating. Need a car? Call 1-800-BAR-NONE. Everyone deserves a second chance, bar none. Call now.
Would you like to refinance your adjustable mortgage to a low fixed rate and pull out some extra cash? Just log on to ditech.com and use our free online e-appraisal calculator to find out how much your home is really worth. Then fill out Ditech's online application and lock in today's low fixed rate. It's quick and easy, all online, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Log on to ditech.com or call 1-800-71-FIXED, a GMAC company.
National champions of women's hockey.
NCAA championships are on CSTV.
Fastest time in the world. And he scores! First NCAA championship. He scores!
Who will be the next NCAA champion?
Lifetime to remember.
To find out, watch Championship Sunday beginning at noon with the NCAA Division I Field Hockey Championship, only on CSTV.
The nation's #1 rushing attack now at 356 yards on the ground. Easy to see why Shun White, an all-state performer in football and track at Raleigh East in Memphis, Tennessee. 114 yards on just 7 carries. Scott, certainly a game-breaking type of back.
16 yards a pop per carry, and that's going to actually raise his average. Coming into the game, he didn't have a lot of touches, over 300 yards, but he was averaging 11 yards per carry, so that's going to get up to around 12, 13. He's a big play back, big play slot back for him.
Ethan Googe, senior out of Kingsport, Tennessee, on for the kickoff for Navy. And there you see Rich Lippincott, the 12th mid on. Googe gets into this one. Shelton driving him back to the goal line. Up to the 5, 20, 30, 40. Travis Shelton, every time he touches the football for Temple, has the ability to be a game breaker for the Owls. 42-6 Navy, and now 2 weeks from now, the rivalry, Army and Navy, renewed. Paul Johnson has dominated it since he has come into it for Navy, Scott. And these two teams will be looking to, and for Army especially, they are going to be looking to make their season with a win against another Bowl Army team.
And of course, my former coach Bobby Ross leading Army. 106 meetings. Navy leads at 50-49. You talk about close meetings. But you look at it right here. They got to get through this game. They've kind of let off in this third quarter. Now all of a sudden you get into the fourth. Paul Johnson, a little ticked off, gets his starters back into the game. They popped it for another 7 points. So now I think he's going to start subbing. He wants to see more consistency from his backups, from his underclassmen.
There you see Jared Bryant, one of those backups, starting to get loose on the sideline. David Mahoney on the first down sack of Vaughn Charlton. Charlton throws while being hit. Brown spun down by Chan. Back on the pass coverage against the running back. He gets it up to the 49. It'll bring up 3rd down and 8. With Shun White going over 100 yards, it's the 5th game this year. The Navy has had multiple players over 100 yards in a game. Charlton out of the gun. On 3rd down. Steps up, fires a bullet. How do you do? Bruce Francis with a catch with Rob Caldwell putting the shoulder pad right on him. Francis up and ready to go as Temple looks to pick up the tempo again, Scott.
I tell you what, that's a big-time throw. You look at Charlton sit in the pocket. He's going to deliver a strike here, and you take a look at the linebacker right here. He gets enough depth, but he kind of loses his footing right there. That opens up the hole right there between the safety. Charlton now 8 for 8, 81 yards and a touch.
Charlton throws while being hit, and Shelton, they're going to wave it off. The umpire says no catch. But again, Charlton for the 2nd time with guys draped on him, able to get the ball away.
So you have the incompletion now. Now he's calling for the huddle, squeezing the hands together. It seems like once they hit a play and the clock's moving, they're going to stay with that no huddle offense. But right now, huddle up and maybe call 2 plays here.
Vaughn Charlton certainly doing his best to audition here for Al Golden for next season.
And that's what Al said. Every day is an audition for all these kids. They're so young. They're so raw that you're continually coaching them. It's not like you just coach them up throughout the week and you get out there and let them play on Saturdays. He's like, we're coaching them up between every play, every series, and every halftime.
And this is Navy's first team D's working against Charlton. Tries to step up in the pocket. He's dragged down. Looks like Ty Adams at the bottom of the pile again. His 2nd sack of the day. Back at the 43-yard line. It'll be a loss of 6. And an injured Temple player on the field.
That's a gutsy sack right there. You look at Ty Adams down on the play, had an lineman on top of him trying to hold him down. Still scrambling, trying to get at the feet of Charlton.
73, Devin Tyler, the redshirt freshman, 6'7" product, former Suitland Ram from right down the road. Played in a very tough Prince George's County 4A high school league.
Reaching down to his right knee, may have gotten rolled. That's what happens sometimes when you start to set the pocket as offensive linemen and the defenders are running stunts and slants underneath. Guys get blocked and thrown into the legs of the linemen, so you always got to be aware of people around your feet. Take a look at him over here on this side. Looks like he just got rolled, and that's the thing right there. You get rolled by one of the Navy defenders, and that's what it was right there. One of your guys taking a defender and riding him into your legs.
You see that happen so many times. I mean, in that case, he's got no idea because his back is to the play as the guys are rolling up behind him. So many times you see the injuries occur, especially to those guys in the trenches down there. When play resumes, we'll have a 3rd down and 16 at the 43-yard line. We spoke of Army earlier playing Navy. Army tuning up for that game with a trip to South Bend for a game this weekend with Notre Dame.
That should be an easy one for him.
Troy Goss warming up on the sidelines as well. He started out in that quarterback rotation at the beginning of the season and has played some wide receiver for Paul Johnson. Paul has been known to move men around at the Naval Academy. Chris McCoy, one of the best quarterbacks here at the Academy, started out as the secondary man. Looks like Tyler's going to be down. We'll go ahead and take a break. 42-6 Navy on CSTV.
College sports fans need to stay alert. With hundreds of teams, thousands of players, and millions of fans, you never know when big news will come over the wire. It's a good thing there's CSTV to go. With CSTV to go, you get wireless text alerts straight to your phone with breaking news from across the college sports world. And when you subscribe to CSTV to go, you'll get the most up-to-the-minute scores and headlines from over 100 schools and up to 15 different sports sent to you, no matter where you are. Log on to CSTV.com and sign up now for CSTV to go.
CSTV XXL is your online ticket to over 100 channels of live college sports. From USC to Auburn, BYU to Navy, you'll get hundreds of schools and more than 10,000 events, like games, press conferences, interviews, and more. No matter what sport you love, you'll find it here, live and on demand. CSTV XXL delivers the most college sports ever. Check it out online at CSTVXXL.com.
This year, you're caught for
There you see Kaipanoa Keahaku in Hana trying to help Jared Bryant. His backup right now, talking about what the Temple defense is doing out there. Kaipanoa with a great day. There you see the staffs of both medical teams out there attending to Devin Tyler, redshirt freshman out of Suitland, Maryland. So they bring the card out for him. As we mentioned, this is the final home game for 35 Navy seniors, and obviously at this time of year, they all make their service selections, and as you might be able to notice, a lot of guys wanting to get into surface warfare, 9 into Marine Corps ground, a couple of pilots in the group, a Marine Corps flight officer and Brian Hampton. Eddie Martin, who of course battling non-Hodgkin or Hodgkin's lymphoma, wants to go into naval intelligence. So some great young men making their service selections. In fact, our statistician today, Brad Bolin, who was the 12th mid a year ago, he's been on that pilot waiting list, and he'll be heading down to Pensacola in January. On the other side of the field, there were a couple of guys who have already, Scott, been to Iraq, and now they're back at Temple playing football. For more on them, let's go down to Sheehan.
That's right. Marquez Henderson and Terry Hill, both are first-year walk-ons for the Temple program. They've both been in Iraq, and they both realize they may have to go back. Henderson's on active duty, and Terry Hill has re-upped for another 3 years. So as these Navy midshipmen get their service elections, it's a very real possibility they'll be over in Iraq, and they may be meeting up with Henderson and Hill later on down the road.
Hill, of course, a member of the 278th Armored Cavalry Regiment. As you can see, the crowd applauding for Devin Tyler, who is up on the stretcher. The leg immobilized, as they often do in situations like this.
And that's the thing, he's such a big guy. It's tough to, say, let's get him on the shoulders or somebody get him to the sidelines. Just better to be safe and sorry. Let's get him on the gator and get him in there and take a closer look at it once they get him inside the locker room.
So Temple will have it. 3rd down and 16. The ball at the Navy 43-yard line. We've got 10 minutes and 48 seconds to go here in quarter number 4. Vaughn Charlton in relief of Adam DeMichael at quarterback for the Owls, and he has engineered some good work here in this second half. And he comes to the line of scrimmage under center. Owls only 20% on 3rd down today. 4-man rush for Navy. Charlton down the middle. Holly was wide open, but he overthrew him. Chan applying some late pressure, but Charlton had that one sail on him. Scott Holly wide open down the middle.
I would even call it some early pressure. The reason that ball sailed, John Chan breathing down his neck, turned free up the middle. He didn't get enough time to set his feet and find Holly streaking down the middle. He's wide open, and that one got away. Quick pressure forced a high throw.
John Chan selecting surface warfare. Young man out of the great high school program at De La Salle in Northern California. 4th down, 16. John Chan once told us that at De La Salle they watched 6 hours of film on Saturday after their games. Here's Charlton loading it up again, looking down the middle for Shelton. Hit Jeremy McGowan right in the hands for Navy. And he doesn't come up with the INT, but they do get the stop on downs at the 10-24 mark.
Called a smart drop.
Safe field position.
That's right. Take a look. They're just taking a chance right here. He steps up in the pocket. I mean, he's got a cannon on him. For a young kid, 6'4", 220 pounds. I don't know if he could have thrown that ball any better.
There you see Jared Bryant coming onto the field, and before he heads out onto the field, he got some instruction from Kaipanoa Keahaku in Hana.
He's coming hard down on 10-11. 10-11, he's coming in every time. Because he's so used to us running 12-13, you know what I'm saying? So just open our, just read it. And some of the changes either. For the most part.
Some people read a book, some people read defenders. And the Navy quarterback has to do that here as Matt Hall on the 1st down carry plunges ahead for a gain of almost 5.
And what he's talking about is the linebacker that's reading the play fake to the fullback. So when he's talking about the crash down, that's when the quarterback needs to pull the ball out, continue on the option to the outside, maybe try and get it to the slot back.
Bryant keeps it himself. Mibe in the first on the scene for the Owls. They'll be about a yard short of the first down. Jared Bryant has moved the Navy offense at times in limited action. The one thing that has plagued him is the propensity to turn the football over via the fumble, as he did a week ago at Eastern Michigan.
Another sophomore. So a lot of these guys coming back. You talk about depth. In the 4 straight bowl games, 4 different starting quarterbacks. You may have another different starter next year. You don't know, but the tradition is set. Navy has great depth, and they should be good for some time.
Third down and less than a yard. Jared Bryant carries, goes through the hole, flag down from the referee, well behind the play. Let's see what he has. 2 men in motion against Navy. Perhaps the fullback got started way too soon. You see Paul Johnson just shaking his head.
Illegal shift on the offense. 2 men moving. Penalized 5 yards from the previous spot. Repeat, third down.
So after the 5-yard walk-off, it'll bring up third down at about 6. The one thing this second half does, though, it gives Paul Johnson some film to go back to these guys and say, fellas, look, we can be a lot sharper than this as they prepare over the next 2 weeks for Army.
This is why you can't fall asleep. You know, you can't fall asleep against some of the good teams in the one ACC team that they're going to face in the bowl game.
Here's Bryant trying to throw the out pattern to Tomlinson. And it is well underthrown and to the outside.
The whole game, we can't get a block. On who? 92.
See Kaipanoa, Keahaku, and Hada giving you the analysis right there, saying can't get a block on 92 Terrence Knight.
That'd be Terrence Knight, 6'4", 305 pounder, and that's why. It's a big body to move.
It's great work by our camera crew down there. Capturing the sounds of the game. Mateto on to punt, takes a low snap, gets the kick away. Brown at the 15. The reverse to Shelton. Herb Spencer trying to run him down. Oh, he got a huge block on the play. Shelton up to the 30. Stays on his feet to the 31, 32-yard line. Yemi just laid him out.
He said, oh, yay, Emmy.
Wow. Abby, oh, yay, Emmy. 37.
I want you to keep an eye on the left side of your screen. Here comes the reverse, and here comes the pop. Right here, boom. That's called a decleater. Decleater's when you can lay on the ground, or a pancake, and all the guy's cleats of the guy you hit are pointing straight up in the air.
Sensational play by the junior, majoring in international business out of Minneapolis.
We thought we weren't going to have to say his name.
He found his way into the broadcast. Here's Charlton on the first down play, and he's going to reset. Larry Silk, big number 98, wrapping him up the nose guard out of the first sting. Played at Hutch Votech.
See, this is the tough part now. You start to get a little bit of confidence as an offense, and now you're asking your guys to go downfield a little more, and you're trying to press the issue instead of taking the short stuff, the underneath, as to what Navy's giving you.
Larry and his brother Joe both out there right now, as Navy is substituted on defense. Holly catches it. Carter tries to get him, can't. He gets up to the 42-yard line. King brings him down, and Charlton is hurt.
Tackled at the 42-yard line of Temple. Tackled by number 16, Matt Garcia.
You're going to see pressure coming from the right. Navy blitzes right there. It's a free shot into the quarterback. Looks like he hit him right in the ribs with the helmet.
Matt Humiston, number 9, the outside backer, the junior out of Kennedale, Texas.
Take a look at the hit, and there it is. It's right on his right, and that's what he's reaching for. You see the right hand go, the right elbow go down, clench his right side. Looks like he took a shot right in the ribs on the right side.
Maybe also out there with Kerwin Scott, who's a senior, getting in from Conyers, Georgia. Joe Alvarado on the field, the junior out of Baton Rouge, as Paul Johnson has finally started to substitute on that defense. 7:17 to go here in the fourth as they roll Charlton over on his back. You see Al Golden coming out to take a look at him, asking the referee perhaps if maybe a roughing penalty could have been called there. Did you mention those?
Thought it was a clean hit.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
He's in the act of throwing. It's an open target. That's what you got to take playing the position.
Humiston coming in there basically as your taught. Puts the shoulder and the helmet to the side. Puts the shoulder right in his ribs. Good to see Charlton up.
Maybe just got the wind knocked out of him.
It's done good in relief here. 9 to 12 for 95 yards and a score.
Just gave the offense some rhythm and something they have to build on once they get back, to Philadelphia, and you sit back and you watch the film and what they've done in the second half. You see some great things that they can work on in the offseason.
Sure, and as you and I were mentioning earlier, we were talking about this off, Mike. There's no reason why Al Golden and his staff, if certainly if they go out and do the work, they can't find some players. They're located in a tremendous area, several big metropolitan cities around, and they can pretty much go 2-3 hours from home and find plenty of decent football players.
The numbers are there. You're right. They're not in an obscure area. They have great areas they can recruit. New Jersey's turned out a ton of great kids.
On the third down handoff, should be good enough for a first down as DeMichael is back in and Bundy carries for the first down to keep the chains moving for Temple. More importantly, I think that guy right there, after we got to sit down and talk with him for a while this week, you listen to what Al Golden is doing and the way he's trying to build the program. He has a plan and certainly hoping to see it through at Temple. DeMichael trying to throw for Francis and he overthrows it.
DeMichael's pass incomplete, intended for 82. Francis.
One of the biggest things Al Golden has done is academically, they said more so than athletically, he's changed the academic scene there as far as the study hall, keeping tabs on these guys in class, which guys are attending class, which aren't. If they aren't, they get penalized. And he's a strict coach. He's learned from some great ones. He's been around Parcells, Belichick, George Welsh at Virginia, Al Groh. Of course, he played for Joe Paterno. So he knows what it takes to be a winner.
DeMichael scrambling out of the pocket, and the pass goes out of bounds. As we mentioned earlier, the accountability factor. We saw it he was doing it with his players on the sideline from a football perspective. But you're right. I mean, you pick up the Temple media guide and you look at a number of players who last year did not play due to academic ineligibility. And obviously, Golden putting that in play, the academic work in play, so he doesn't have to worry about losing guys to academic ineligibility. Third down 10 coming up here. DeMichael out of the gun with 6:22 to go in the fourth. Pressure comes. Charlton back in, steps up. Oh, what a catch by Holly. Holly made an adjustment on the ball, spun back around, and makes the first down catch inside the 30 at the Navy 28.
Now, I don't know if that was a bad throw by Charlton or if he knew to back shoulder Hawley on this, because both defenders on the inside, and he forced Hawley to get back to the outside, make an adjustment on the football.
Charlton back in, and he continues to impress with a pretty strong arm. Charlton stepping up through the pocket now, gonna run with it. Runs out of one tackle. Kerwin Scott brings him down on the far side of the field at the 20-yard line. Bring up second down and about 2.
Both these quarterbacks have shown that they can get out of the way of pressure, and I think that's a key when you have a young offensive line and guys that are going to need a little help off front. And I'm not talking about help from a fullback or a tailback helping you chip. I'm talking about help from your quarterback. Can that guy give you that one little step where he can buy some extra time, not only for himself, but to help out his linemen? And I think both these guys have shown the ability to do that.
Charlton throws the screen. Tim Brown underneath. He's at the 10, at the 5, dives, and he's going to be just short inside the 1-yard line. Tim Brown, the senior, in his last football game, moving up with it just short of the end zone. And it'll bring up first and goal.
This is a good job by Temple. Once you start to get pressure and once Navy has started to bring people here in the second half, you go right to the screen pass. Get your lineman out in front, set it up. Charlton did a good job allowing the pressure, drawing the pressure into him. Thought he had a touchdown. As a young quarterback, that's what you want, those quick touchdowns.
Well, you guys always think every time you throw a pass, it's going to be a touchdown.
It's the worst thing. Throw a nice pass, get down to the 1, and then hand it off.
Charlton gives second back through Brown. No dice. Kerwin Scott makes the stop from behind. Good play by Kerwin Scott coming down the line to make the tackle. Scott, who played at Salem High in Conyers, Georgia. Brown gets up a little gimpy. He says, you know what? I'm going to stay.
Might get the ball.
Give it to me, Vaughn.
You don't want to take yourself out on the 1-yard line.
You see Kerwin Scott, who made the last stop. Andrew Tattersall, senior, in for the midshipmen out of Fern Park, Florida. And now a timeout is called by the Owls with just 7 on the play clock. 4:51 to go here in the 4th. Temple and Vaughn Charlton challenging here, down 42-6 on CSTV.
CSTV is the home of the Navy midshipmen.
Boy, he is smooth from the outside.
A winning tradition.
Bullseye!
Passionate fans. Unforgettable moments.
The kick is up and it is goal!
The midshipmen play on CSTV.
Goal again for Navy!
Your ultimate destination for everything Navy.
What's your most productive time of day? Odds are it's not after lunch. According to researchers, that's when 74% of us hit the wall. Now you can get over that wall with 5-Hour Energy. Just one quick drink of 5-Hour Energy will help you feel alert and productive for hours. 5-Hour Energy is packed with B vitamins, enzymes, and amino acids, 0 sugar, and just enough caffeine. So when you hit the wall, drink a 5-Hour Energy. It's available at these fine stores or go to 5hourenergy.com.
Coming up next, it's the latest chapter in one of football's most storied rivalries. Lehigh and Lafayette have been battling it out on the gridiron since 1884. Now this game can make or break the season for both teams.
Touchdown, Lehigh!
It's Lehigh and Lafayette coming your way next. Football is a way of life. Live it with CSTV.
They are ordinary men who gaze into the future. Crystal Ball, the future of football, every Wednesday at 7 Eastern and 8 Pacific on CSTV.
Back in Annapolis, 42-6. Solak, we got to get that hat. That polar bear hat's got to be us.
For you.
Well, I am
It's gotta be
follically
warm,
challenged. And as a follically challenged person, you need a good hat at this time of year. Temple with good offensive explosion here as they pick the tempo up in the second half and challenging here for a touchdown. DeMichael, the fullback in motion. The give is to Bundy. And Bundy trying to get in, and no, says the officials.
Yeah, looks like he's going to be short. Temple team 5 yards rushing in the first half. You come in, you've outgained Navy 144 to 102 here in the second.
Larry Silk and John Alvarado at the bottom of the pile. There you see 98 and 58 filling the hole nicely there.
Good push right there by your nose tackle. And that's the big thing. Those defensive guys, you got to get under the pads of the offensive linemen, stand them straight up, and it allows your linebackers to come in, and support the pressure.
3rd and goal for the Owls. Less than a yard to go for the touchdown. Charlton, Bundy, no. Silk again at the bottom of the pile. Larry, that is. Alvarado also in there. Those two again coming up with a big push. Navy thought the ball came out. Officials aren't buying.
That's just a big push right in the middle. And here's the thing, you got a quarterback that's tall, it's lanky, he's not as mobile as DeMichael. The question right here, do you try and get him on the outside, little play fake, roll him out to the wide side of the field, which would be his left.
Temple 0 for 3 on 4th downs today.
66% on the year.
Charlton, second back, Harper going to try and throw a pass, it's intercepted. Keetrick Buffin run out of bounds on the far side of the field by Bundy at the 20.
I'll tell you what, that's a great effort by Bundy to save 7 points. A play that was already bad from the start, making it worse.
Good job by Keetrick Buffin, who basically only had to stand right there and pick off the pass. And you're right, Scott, if Bundy doesn't hustle to run him down, this is going back 97 for a touchdown.
I think he lost sight of the tight end. They tried to slip big number 83 Brown in the back corner of the end zone. He actually got hit while he was throwing it. You take a look at the effort by Bundy to get to the outside. Prevents a touchdown from happening.
See Keetrick Buffin getting congratulations from his teammates. 2nd career pick. Jared Bryant on the handoff up the middle. Ricky Pyfrom, the senior out of West Windsor, New Jersey. Getting a carry here from Paul Johnson. Paul has done a very good job today trying to get his seniors that don't normally play a lot involved in the course of the game. We saw Byron McCoy score his first career touchdown. There you see Admiral Rempt and Adam Ballard. Mids can turn their attention to Army now. Jared Bryant on the pitch. On the right side across the 30-yard line. As Byron McCoy carries up to the 31. He'll have a Navy first down.
Well, good job by McCoy, not only picking up the first down, but staying in bounds, not getting to the sideline to stop the clock.
The 10th different ball carrier Pyfrom was today for the midshipmen to carry the football. They are now up to 376 yards on the ground. They came in averaging 324. And certainly with West Virginia on their heels and their big rushing performance on Thursday night. Trying to stay at number 1. McCoy will get it going left side. Wrapped up out there on the corner. David Reese makes the stop.
Very even half for Temple, though. You really can't criticize Temple here in the second half. I thought they came out, they played hard. They did some things that they wanted to do. I thought they got some rhythm with the offense. We saw a little bit from Charlton. Gives them something to think about in the offseason. I thought Shelton made some plays. You saw the reverse. They're out there, they're trying, they're coaching them up as they go. And you pretty much played Navy even here in the second half.
Bryant on the keeper, running outside, trying to set up a couple of blocks. He stays in bounds, gains some yardage up to the 46-yard line. Time now for our Xbox Live Big Play replay, and Shun White providing that as he has provided many highlights today.
Yeah, he's the guy that popped off the big plays for Navy all day today. You see him on the big gainer right here. And he just gives you another dimension. You got guys like Campbell, you got guys like White that can run the slot back. And here you see another new quarterback coming in the game for Navy.
Troy Gauss in at quarterback for the Mids. Gauss going to roll out on the run, cuts it up across midfield. Gauss just short of the Temple 45. It'll bring up second down and 1. Just goes to show you, Navy has played Kaihaku and Hada, Bryant, Gauss. That shows you they had 4 guys competing at the quarterback spot back in the spring, because Brian Hampton, of course, was at the head of that class.
Well, what it tells you is you better be ready to play. You better study. You better be on your game, because in any instance, one of these guys can go down. You thought Brian Hampton was one of the most durable guys on this team. He goes down. Hada comes in. He does a great job. And Paul Johnson's one of those coaches. And if things aren't going well, he doesn't like the pace of the game, or he doesn't like the way his guys are leading, he'll pull you out of the game, whether it's for a series, whether it's for a quarter. So you got to be ready to go at all times.
Byfrom on the previous carry. Navy's still substituting, trying to get some guys into the ballgame. Sean Kearney, a senior, on the offensive line, gets into this play as Byfrom carries the football. Down inside the 30 to the 25. And that will be the last play of the ball game. Al Golden runs across to shake hands with Paul Johnson. These two will meet again to open the 2007 football season. Temple season concluding today. Navy with one more regular season game 2 weeks from today in the big clash against Army. And then on to the Monty Car Care Bowl on December the 30th.
Obviously, you have 2 programs, and you know what Paul Johnson has done since he has arrived at Navy, and the tradition he started and the success this team has had, especially the last 4 years, the 4 bowl games. You know, they get a week off, then it's on the Army, so you talk about bigger and better things for them. And then obviously the big bowl game on December 30th, the Meineke Car Care game. You're going to play a very good ACC opponent at that time. And Temple on the other side, you got something to hang your hat on. I thought Al Golden's club played hard in the second half. You played Navy even. Now you get ready for the offseason. You won the game this year, so the monkey's off your back. You don't have to say, hey, the losing streak continues. And best thing is, you got young freshmen, sophomores. They're going to be ready to play and have an experience for next year.
Paul Johnson, of course, now, as you mentioned, will have 2 weeks to prepare for Army. Johnson 14-6 as Navy's head coach. That's 70% of the games when having more than 1 week to prepare.
Expiration times on Sunday.
The Navy football team and the Brigade of Midshipmen getting the Liberty announcement, meaning they'll have a little freedom this weekend. And now for the playing of the Navy alma mater, the blue and gold. As you see the seniors sharing some hugs. Certainly an emotional moment for them down on the sideline. chant of Pete Army from the United States Naval Academy football team. 42-6 winners today here over at Temple. We'll come back and wrap things up in just a moment. The Mids improved to 8-3. Football Nation on CSTV.
Rated E to M.
Just gives me the feeling like she's not like listening to me.
Have you tried not saying like every other word?
What?
Remember your ski trip story?
Yeah.
I was like going down the hill and like there was a crowd and like
come on, that's
and I was
not
like
me.
stuff either happens or it doesn't.
Holy.
Wouldn't it be great to hear exactly what you want on radio? Then say yes to over 130 channels of Sirius satellite radio. Say yes to 100% commercial-free music from rock to pop, hip-hop to country. Yes to every NFL game, the NBA, college sports, and NASCAR coming this January. Yes to comedy, news, talk, and more. To a subscription that's less than 50 cents a day. Say yes and join over 10 million listeners. Say no to limited choices and interruptions. And now get a radio plus a 3-month subscription for less than $99. Sirius, the best radio on radio.
CSTV Football Nation, Temple versus Navy, has been brought to you by Sirius Satellite Radio. Hear the sports, talk, news, entertainment, and 100% commercial-free music you want. Sirius Satellite Radio, the best radio on radio. And by Xbox Live, it's good to play together. Happy patrons filing out in Annapolis. Navy wins it here today, 42-6. They improved to 8-3 2 weeks from today. They go to Philadelphia to take on Army. Our serious player of the game today, and several candidates, but the game breaker, Scott Shunwhite.
And this is the big thing. Every time you watch this kid play, he makes big plays. Came in averaging 11 yards a carry, 16 yards a carry today, and only 7 rushes, 114 yards, 2 scores. It seems like every time we go to a serious player of the game, it's somebody different for Navy.
And today, 420 yards on the ground. They do nothing but enhance their rushing statistics. And as we look at them, 455 yards total, but basically all of that on the ground, Scott. And again, just an impressive performance from what seems like a machine. You just plug in the parts.
And everybody steps up, and it's about guys being ready when guys go down. You got a little bit out of Adam Ballard today. He thought he wasn't going to play much, but he led the attack. Starts all up front with the fullback, but they plug in these slot backs. I thought Kaipo did a nice job today reading the defense, giving it to the fullback when he was there. He made some nice plays, actually made some nice throws. Got the game going early with a nice quick pass to Ballard out in the flat. But Navy did what they had to do. They had to drive the football. They chipped away, and then when the big plays came, they converted them into touchdowns.
Navy looking now 2 weeks from today to win the N-Star against Army. Our final score today, Navy 42 and Temple 6. For Scott Zolak, she and Stanwick Birch, and our entire hard-working CSTV crew, I'm Pete Medhurst. For more, log on to CSTV.com, the ultimate destination for scores, news, highlights, and analysis. This has been a presentation of CSTV, College Sports Television, the 24-hour college sports network from CBS Sports. So long from Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis, Maryland. Thanks for watching. Let's go to the Field House in New York.